Yo, we are back. It's the Guys Podcast. Thank you all out there, Facebook Live. Thank you guys out there in TV land, Zingo TV. Also a Blackjack channel as well. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, everybody. Thank you all for joining in for another podcast with the guys. I am your gracious host, Sean. I'm joined by my homeboy Dre. What it do, my man?
What's happening, homie? What's happening?
What it do? Mark, how you want that, homie?
What up, yo?
Yo, Merv, what are you looking for, man? You all right?
What up, Bubba?
Oh boy, we done start. Yo, fellas, before we get this thing kick off, let's go ahead and pour one up and salute to the podcast for tonight. Jay, what you drinking on tonight, homie?
Got a little bit of Cavassier tonight. That's what I'm on. Cavassier's the drink. Yes, ladies, man.
Cavassier, little Cavassier. Merv, what you drinking on, homie?
I got this Esme gin.
What is that?
A gin, very smooth gin.
EFME.
Hey, that shit straight out of Georgetown, nigga.
Esme gin. Yo, listen,
Somebody made some moonshine and put it in a bottle.
Yo, that's
very good gin, dog. Yo, smooth.
To the red dot in the hood, like, yo, give me whatever you got. I got $2. I got $2. Whatever you can give me for the night.
It's some real spirits in that shit.
Real spirits, yeah. That's what I'm going to say. Food and spirits. That's some real spirits.
That's some real spirits in that shit.
Yo, Mark, what you got, man?
Shoot, nothing. I gotta go to work, man. Nothing.
Toast that McFlurry up, man.
McFlurry, the Mark Flurry.
The Mark Flurry.
Hey, I want to toast to the fact that this nigga took a lunch break to eat some chicken tenders on the last podcast.
Oh, man, that guy was going too long, man. I was like,
yo, Mark's stomach started growling, man. I said, yo, this cat about to get something to eat, man. Thinking niggas were calling him out.
Hey, that nigga texted us. He was like, yo, bull, I gotta eat, bull. What the fuck?
Yo, bull, I'm hungry, bull.
Y'all understand out there.
Yo, I got the Ciroc watermelon. You know, it's still a special edition right now. I'm about to wind down the summer.
Really?
I mean, 2 summers in, so I'm about to wind the summer down. So might as well finish it off, right? So that's what I'm drinking on tonight. So before we get this thing started, man, let's go ahead and salute to the podcast. Merv, can you keep your head up? Your head on the swivel?
Tupac, nigga, keep your head up.
What the fuck is going on?
Salute.
Salute.
All right, fellas. So let's get into the heavy stuff first before we get into our natural flow of things. The NBA has made a clear statement today. We're boycotting today's game, and we don't know what it's going to look like for the next couple of games coming afterwards because of the tragedy and the incidents that's happened over the past 48 to 72 hours. We had another innocent black male that we know of right now got shot in the back by the cops. Fortunately, the brother survived. Unfortunately, he is paralyzed. But we also had another incident where a young white male shooting the crowd up, and I think he killed 2 people, if I'm not mistaken, and injured 1. So we got a lot of mess going on out there in the world, fellas. And now the NBA is taking a different approach where they're not actually coming out to play tonight. So Mark, I want to kick it to you and Merv for you guys to kind of take us through your thoughts on this, how this is impacting the NBA, how it's impacting the culture, how it's impacting everything around us right now. So please, the floor is you guys.
I'm gonna say like this, man. It's once again, we have something like this that we got to deal with. Just enough is enough, man. And I'm glad that the players, for the NBA, they were just like, look, man, we ain't playing. And I always said that, listen, I'm for any form of protest, right? But I always said when you hit them in the pocket, that's when, it can create some change, and I've been asking for that for people to do that. Like, if you don't like something, hit them in the pocket, because that's when people start listening. Oh man, wait a minute, you messing with the money, right? And, the powers that be, people, that are high in higher positions, whether politician, businessmen or whatever, they respect the almighty dollar. So if it's just like, all right, I ain't spending mine, I'll do something else that day, Then it's like, oh, wait a minute, what y'all want? You know, that's when that starts happening. So I would say like this, you know, salute to the NBA, salute to Major League Baseball for following up, you know, on what the NBA was doing. I know the Brewers canceled the game with the Reds. You know, I think more games are going to be canceled on top of that. So
Right.
my thing is like, man, it's still something, you know, that we have to deal with. Unfortunately, you know, as black men, and it's just like, you know, it's a shame because I'm just like, yo, you know, it should be more than the color, it should be the person or whatever. And then getting to these vigilantes, I'm just like, I'm real tired of them because I'm just like, you really have nothing better to do with your life, right?
Right.
And this kid that went out, you know, and you know, shot, you know what I'm saying, for real, protesters, killed protesters or whatever, right? I'm just like, man, it's another situation where a kid really had nothing to do with his life, probably consumed with the internet, probably not too many friends. And you always hear these lone wolf type guys that end up being vigilantes. Like, you know, I'm just like, they feel like, you know, their life, you know, doesn't amount to much. So let me be a part of something and try to be a martyr, but you're not a martyr at all. You know what I'm saying? You're just weak, you're useless. And, you know, I'm just like, you know, whatever happens to this guy, and I know he just got arrested or whatever, but I'm just like, I'm tired of people trying to protect people like that. I'm just like, listen, he was wrong, you know, deal with him accordingly. Don't give me the, oh yeah, he was misguided and all of that. Nah, he knew exactly what he was doing. Ain't no misguided, nothing like that, right? And let me tell you, you know, I'm not just talking about, you know, this kid. I'm talking about anybody like that, you know, who just shoots into a crowd or whatever for no reason, walking around with a gun. If you're walking around with a gun, you know, usually it's going to be bad intentions that happen. It's not really going to be to protect yourself. It's going to inflict harm on others. And you're at a protest of all places. I mean, you know, we used to all see growing up when guys would just let it off on a playground with kids out. I'm just like, you know, you're not trying to protect yourself. You're just trying to kill somebody else. So
Right.
I'm just like, you know, these people to me are the scum of the earth. They don't need to be around. And you know what? If they're locked away forever, good riddance.
Word. That's on the tape. That's on the tape, my homie. So Merv, what are your thoughts on this, man? How does this impact you as well as just kind of seeing things from the NBA scope of things and how these guys are finally taking a different stance by not playing in these games? But how do you look at this overall, how it connects to you?
Man, this something I have a lot of mixed emotions with this. From being angry, frustrated, baffled that in 2020 that we're still dealing with this kind of shit. And like Mark said, when you boycott or you protest, one of the things that's going to move the needle is affecting their pockets. Now, one thing that's greater than black and white, one color that's greater than black and white is green. All right. When you mess with these billionaires or these millionaires or the business owners, you fuck with their money.
Hey.
They're going to.
Hey, I just want to interrupt real quick, Merv. You sounded like Hitman Holler when he took his chain off in URL when he was going up against Sue Surf, man. Like, hey, take that fake ass piece off for me, please, sir. So we'll hear all that shit, man.
What are you talking about? Oh, you talking about chain? You a hater, man. I won't take it off.
Mark, don't you hear it too, Mark?
Nah, you want me to take it off because
hey,
your
and
Bills.
it don't sound like.
Nah, listen.
I
understand
I'm
you're a Bills fan.
I'm a Tar Heel tonight.
I understand you're a Bills fan, so you're gonna hate on my Niners. We got 5 chips, and y'all 0-4 in the Super Bowl. Oh no, you also like Carolina, so you 0-6. But I get it.
Man, I'm just talking about like. So, okay, go ahead, man.
Yeah, go ahead, Merv. I want you to finish this, man. I'm gonna talk to you after that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, man, one color that's greater than black and white is green. That's what moves the needle. So billionaires and millionaires, they're business owners. All right. That's what's gonna make them, whether they want to or not, It's going to make them either endorse change for policies, pay more attention to police brutality on the black or brown, on African Americans, people of color, whatever, however, whoever categorizes the people that's being shot. So with first Toronto Raptors talked about it, and then I was watching the game and like your Milwaukee Bucks didn't even come out, and that's what happened at with Milwaukee Bucks, basically their backyard. So I'm proud that they're taking the stance of boycotting. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but the NBA owners or just owners in general, if they boycott the rest of this playoffs, you're talking about loss of endorsements, sponsorships, revenue, and that's affecting millionaires, the billionaires, business owners. That's affecting their pockets. So they're going to come to the table with willing to negotiate to get the players back, or what can we do so that this don't happen again? All right. So one of the biggest changes in history was the bus boycotts. They didn't allow black people to ride on the front of the bus because they fucking wanted to. They still didn't want us to ride on the fucking bus. But you know why they allowed us to ride in the front of the fucking bus? And it took the restrictions off where the fuck we could sit at? Because they stopped getting on the buses and they lost fucking money. If you really want change that happens fast or efficiently, you got to find a way to hit them in the fucking pockets. All right? So when you hit them in their pockets, to make sure they can get that money or that green, because they care more about that green than black and white. So hit them in the fucking pockets. They're going to make a change, even if they don't fucking want to, as long as they can maintain their fucking lifestyle. So this boycott of these NBA games is just the first step. I don't know how long the boycott is going to last. If we do it one game and then they go back to playing, that's what I'll be interested to see is how long this is going to last. Because if you just do one game and go back, you make a statement, but you're not really hitting them in the pockets. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develop over the next 24 hours. A real big fucking stance, boycott the rest of the playoffs. That's affecting a lot of people. So it'll be interesting to see how they go from here. But I do know one of the best way to make change, and not only, but one of the best way to make change is affecting the color green.
So I have two different takes on it. So when it comes to the players, like that's what's up. You did something that you see is something that's going to make a change, and that's cool and that's fine. That's what you should do. Even when we're dealing with the players, Sean asked me earlier, and I told him I would give a little bit. I would give a little bit more insight on what I meant. He asked me because this was before the NBA decided to delay the rest of the games. He asked me if LeBron plays, do y'all look at LeBron different? And my answer was no. The reason why my answer was no is because LeBron has done so much that I don't feel like he has to follow the status quo or what's being put in front of him in order to still be considered successful in his humanitarian work. LeBron is somebody that I always say, hey, yo, I hate on-court Bron. And I always make sure to say I hate on-court Bron and not just LeBron, because off-court Bron is the greatest athlete of our time, and it's not even close. We didn't grow up in a time where Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown were doing their thing. So LeBron will always get kudos for that. And so if he would have decided to play, that's why I said no, my answer would not change on how I feel about LeBron. But then I want to jump to the other side. I want to jump to the NBA side. So here is my problem with the NBA. And I said this years ago, and to the loyal watchers, y'all know that the four of us in a group called SNS. So while we was in SNS at that time, I made some statements that a lot of people didn't agree with. Now, I didn't agree with North Carolina, my home state, being ridiculed for the bathroom law. That's my personal opinion. But what the NBA did was they went and said, you know what? Since y'all got this law, y'all not protecting these people. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the All-Star game out. And so my issue with that was the NBA was willing to pull out from the city of Charlotte because of a state law. The state law came about because the city of Charlotte actually made a law saying that, hey, if you're a transgender, you can go into the bathroom of which you identify with. That is how the state law became a part of the equation. So the NBA was willing to say, hey, we're not coming there because you are not there for transgender. You're not there for the whatever that, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but whatever the fuck the LGBTQRS, community is, you're not there for that. So we taking a stand. My issue is you're only taking a stand because your players are forcing you to. And they haven't taken a stand yet, but I'm pretty sure it's coming very soon. So you're only forcing a stand. I mean, you're only taking a stand because your players are forcing you to. And like I always said, listen, 90% of the NBA is African-American males. All right. There's not a single transgender person in the NBA. There's not a single openly gay person in the NBA. There's not a single queer in the NBA, a single known bisexual in the NBA. None of those exist in the NBA, but you can stand up for that. And so that is my issue. That is my problem when it comes to this boycott. And it's not on the players, it's on the league. Because I know now, thanks to the Milwaukee Bucks starting it and everyone else deciding to follow suit, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some, hey, we're going to knock on Congress' door. And then my second issue with this, I said all that, but I disagree with sports leagues being involved in politics. I don't think sports leagues should be able to force anything. It's no different. Hey, listen, you can use the players to do it. You can use coaches to do it, but the actual league, because of antitrust laws and things of that nature, I don't think the actual sports league should be able to say, hey, North Carolina, you need to force North Carolina to change their laws. Now, even with what's going on, you can't say, hey, we're going to force you all to change your laws, or we're not going to play in your city, we're not going to play in your state. And that is what my issue is. It happened in the 90s when Arizona was supposed to get the Super Bowl. They decided that they did not want to recognize Dr. King's birthday, so they pulled the Super Bowl out of there, and they end up going to, I think, Pasadena that year. To me, it's still the wrong answer. I think you leave that to individuals to do, and we have individuals that's going to fight. I understand what Merv say. I'm 100% with Merv. You start fucking with money, and motherfuckers going to pay attention. And so that's the only reason the NBA is going to pay attention. And I have a problem with that because money was not effective. Let's be real. I ain't trying to be funny, but it ain't no dang on, a whole lot of gay men walking around or transgender men walking around at All-Star Weekend. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal take.
So, again, guys, really good take. I know this is not something that we normally do on the Guys podcast. We normally get into other things, but I felt like this was something that we had to touch on. Just because I wanted to really get you guys' thoughts and get an idea of where you were standing on all of this. And it also filters into the sports arena. First of all, shout out to Keenan Davis. Keenan is my homie. I think Keenan mentioned something really powerful there as far as just the corporations and their influence. This is what Keenan said. Corporations influence the laws to benefit corporations and their interests. Spot on. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. It's always been about the money. And when you, to your point, Merv, when you start forcing them and they start hemorrhaging with the money, that's when they start paying attention because now it affects them more so than it affects us. I have different takes on it. I don't want to get into great details of what I really think deep side, on my own. But I want to propose something to you guys, and I'll just kind of loop this all in together, and we can close the segment out. But Merv, you are a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, right?
Right.
When you became part of that brotherhood, you felt good when you was able to don those colors and even have that candy cane popping every now and then, right?
Right.
Right. So, Dre, for you, you joined the Army, whatever that is, several years ago, but you feel good when you wear that uniform because you're a part of something, right?
At times.
At times. Murray,
Hey, you know, it is no disrespect. You know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've had plenty of conversations off.
Absolutely. And I say that for a reason. Murray, at times, did you kind of feel a certain way about your brothers?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
I know you,
because with that, because all right, even when you're a part of an organization, whether it's military, fraternity, college, sports, at some point, manhood or humans is going to separate a lot of different of the policies or the beliefs. So that's when it's not okay. I know I'm a Kappa, but this ain't about Kappa. This about my personal beliefs and my manhood. You know what I'm saying? I think Dre could say the same thing as far as like with the Army, you with the Marines, and so or anybody that's part of a bigger organization that's bigger than them. Right. Sometimes it comes to a point where it's about your beliefs and your manhood. Right. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So Merv, hold on, Sean. Merv, I got a question with that though. So let's go back to 2000. You're safety for Lou Holtz, one of the greatest coaches ever. And let's say this is that time frame. And let's say, hey, it's like 3 games left. Y'all got to get thrashed by Alabama, Clemson, and North Carolina. That's what y'all got left on the schedule.
Those are losses.
Yeah, all losses for sure.
All losses. Yeah.
But let's say that's a time where it's like, yo, I need to go in here. I need to shut somebody down. I need to stuff the lanes up on the run, and I need to get like 2 interceptions in these 3 games in order for you to make it to the next level. Are you willing to sit out for the cause and not, and have to put in extra draft work, or are you just going to step back and just go ahead and play and do your thing? 20-year-old Murph, not grown man.
No, I get you. I'm probably, I don't want to say I'm the wrong person to ask, but my perspective is different. Mainly because my dad, I'm still blessed to have my dad. He's 82 years old. My dad was born in 1937. And from the time me growing up, my dad has constantly talked to me about black and white issues, talked to me about civil rights, and taught me. So I got a lot of, even at a 20-year-old Merv, I probably got a lot more of that kind of knowledge and that instilled in me, probably more than the average person, because my dad really taught me a lot about it. Like my dad used to talk me a lot about how he was in the Army over in Germany, and he used to talk about how they treated the black soldiers better than the Americans treated the black soldiers. When they come over here, he's over there, treated good, and they come back over here, and they treated like second-class soldiers or second-class people. So I got that kind of stories and feelings and insight on how America's been since my dad was born. So even 20-year-old Merv, I've been okay with it because of the type of knowledge and type of conversations and relationship I had with my dad.
Right. Okay.
Sean, that ties into what you and I talk about all the time.
Absolutely.
But I do want to piggyback real quick on you earlier when Dre was mentioning like he don't agree with like leagues getting involved with politics. So I understand what you were saying, but yes, sometimes they take leagues to get the change. Like for example, I think everybody here got South Carolina roots except Mark. But like the flag, the Confederate flag was flown at the Capitol, in Columbia for years. There's been several complaints. There's been several petitions. There's been a lot of going back and forth about taking that flag. But that flag didn't come down until sports it was other variables as well, not just sports. There was other
Yeah,
variables. So I'm not saying just
it
sports.
started with the NCAAP,
Yeah,
and
but
then
that was
the
that
NCAA jumped in.
exactly like when Spurrier came, and then we started losing recruits. So it was sports and league sports and individuals that even got them some of the changes in South Carolina. Even though we still the red state, we still far behind, but we need every. I feel like you need
But
contribution from everything.
But here's another reason why. If you look at it, at that same time, it was only let's boycott South Carolina. And I always try to figure out where did it come from? Why boycott South Carolina? And the reason why I say that, because even more disrespectful, in my opinion, is the fact that Mississippi has it in their state flag. So everything that Mississippi does, that involves the American flag, the state flag is right there with the exact same emblem, and no one had anything to say. Georgia used to fly the same flag. No one had anything to say. And I'm gonna say South Carolina, they moved it. They didn't do shit. They just spit in your face. They moved it from the top to the front lawn. That's all they did. They moved it from the top of the Capitol and they moved it to the front lawn. And I remember when this was going on. This was like my I want to say it started like my junior year in high school. So, it was boycott bike week, and in my mind, it's like, yo, all you doing, like when you boycott things like bike week, you're hurting your black entrepreneurs because that's who make money doing Black Week. You know what I'm saying? Like the whites, they make money off the real estate, but spending the money is going to your African American owners. So that's another reason why I'm against it, because you pick and chose who you wanted. You couldn't boycott Georgia because there was so much that Atlanta had to offer. Whereas there's no city in South Carolina that has what Atlanta has to offer. So not going to Greenville for the or Columbia, because that's the only two places they go is Greenville and Columbia, not going there for the NCAA tournament, that don't mean shit. We just going to move it to Charlotte that year, or we're going to move it to Atlanta that year, and we're going to get a whole lot more money.
Right. So I want to circle back to the point I was trying to make before Dre kind of hijacked it and took us down a whole different road. And then Merv casually jumped on top of that as well. So I want to bring it back to the forefront here.
What the fuck, man?
Shit, I'm a drinker, so I kind of forgot some of it. But the point I was trying to make was
that means it was a lie or wasn't important.
No,
that's exactly what it means, man. Hey, when you drunk, the truth comes out, right?
It's more important than wearing the 49ers fake Figaro chain. So,
hey.
Hey, that nigga came out like John Cena with that shit on.
Like a Figaro
Can't see me.
No, but the point I was trying to make, man, was the fact that when do we say enough is enough, as a community of race, of color, right? We talk about this all the time. It's always happening. It's like to the point right now where it's almost becoming numb because it's almost an expectation when you see that kind of stuff. And I say that because where are our Black leaders? Dre, you mentioned that the NBA is taking a stance and you're not all the way, there with the league being too political, or LeBron is the best person off the court or what have you. Where are those other strong Black voices that's still alive? The Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, etc. The Umar Johnson who can get on YouTube and ask you to pay him to go to college and he'll get your kid out of jail or whatever. Where are those righteous brothers now when you need their voice the most? Where are they now trying to put things together to resolve the issue that we're seeing in America? Their voices are muted. And I think it goes back to what Keenan mentioned earlier in the comments that, are their pockets being greased? Are they in a situation where they'll compromise, their status, or they'll compromise whatever money they're getting on the side or whatever the case may be? I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just saying what's going on with those voices. And I say that to say all of this so we can continue to move forward. My wife got me this shirt, Black King shirt, right? And I'm living in Greenville, South Carolina. You guys know that. And anyone who's ever been in Greenville, South Carolina, you would know what the dynamic is up here in Greenville, right? And I'm not going to get into that as well. But I remember Dre asked me a couple of months ago why I'm always wearing Marine Corps stuff. Like when I go to the gym, when I go out and about, I'm always wearing like a Marine Corps paraphernalia, whether it's a retired shirt or whatever, or just something represent the Corps, a symbol or whatever. And I didn't realize myself that I was wearing that just kind of like subconsciously because of the different respect that I got from wearing that shirt, as opposed to wearing a shirt like the one I got on today. If I wear this shirt right now in Greenville, South Carolina, I'll get the mean mugs. No one won't approach me, but I'll get that mean mug. When I wear the Marine Corps shirt, I got people come up to me, hey, thank you for your service. Hey, you a vet. I mean, we've had people pay for my dinner, just because I had the Marine Corps hoodie on, you know what I mean? And I get a different feel. I was in Costco a couple of months ago, and this was when everything happened with George Floyd. And I remember, I think I called Dre and was like, yo, I can't believe what just happened. I'm minding my business. I got a Marine Corps shirt on, got back in my bag, Gunnery Sergeant of Marines. This older white lady came up to me and she was like, are you okay? And I was caught off guard. I was like, she was probably like in her late 60s, late 70s. I don't know. She was older. She was an elder. And she was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I was like really thrown off. And I'm like, and it resonated to me what she was asking because of the environment. And I asked her, I said, are you okay talking to me? Because I'm doing fine. Are you okay talking to me? Do you feel a certain way talking to me? And she just paused and looked at me, and I just walked off. And I realized a couple of things there. We're never going to change the ideology of what they feel about us and how they review us, how they perceive us. But what we can do is start taking action and not only taking care of each other. And I'm not trying to make it seem like we got to create segregation or whatever, or separation, because I'm all about, I got some good white brothers out there, Hispanic, whatever. What I'm saying is the only way to destroy ignorance is to ignore ignorance or fight ignorance back with logic and education. And there's no way in the world you can do that if we try to succumb ourselves to what's going on around here. So I want to leave the door open for you guys. If you guys have anything else you want to add, we move on.
I do have one thing, that I want to say. And I think when Sean, you just made a point, like, man, it's almost like, you become numb to it because it still happens, right? Now, up here in Philly, man, we just have something going on, and it's been super crazy, since the pandemic started. We're probably at 300 murders already, and the summer ain't over.
Shit.
And I'm just like, so I don't, I was talking to one of my young boys today, and we're talking, I'm like, yeah, man, this cat out in Wisconsin, that's messed up what happened to him. He's just like, yo, man, but that happens when you in the street or whatever. I was like, he wasn't in the street though, right? And I'm just trying to explain to him that you don't want to be desensitized to, to something that happens that's wrong, right? Just because of where you live or how things go down, you still don't want to be desensitized to, what's going on in the world. It's more than what hood you're in. It's the world, and it's a problem, and it's something you should care about, because it's just like, yo, I'm like, you could be the next one. You know what I'm saying? We had a guy a few years ago that got killed, Brandon Tate Brown from Philly by police, right? Good brother, and that happened to him. It didn't really get him a lot of noise or whatever, but we knew about it here. So when this happens everywhere, and wrong is wrong, and I'm just saying, whether you black, white, Hispanic, whatever, I'm just like, yo, if it's wrong, speak up on it, man. And it don't matter that it didn't happen in your city or your hood or whatever. Just be like, yo, man, I'm not feeling that right there. So when I was trying to explain to him, just like, listen, man, don't just kind of just go off the rails where it's like, well, that happened there. That has really nothing to do with me. I'm like, nah, right. We all connected. It do have something to do with us, man. Because guess what? You know what I mean? For Allah, he's a father. You know what I mean? For he had kids that love him, a family that love him, just like your family loves you. Your kids love you. You know what I'm saying? And you never want to see that happen over something, that was such, wasn't even an incident, and he definitely didn't deserve, what happened to him. But I just say, all my brothers that are watching out there, man, regardless of where you are, right? Just, like, don't become desensitized to what's happening, man. Always care, always use your heart, man. And if it's wrong, you know, you want to speak up and speak out about it, then do so. You know what I'm saying? And do your best, you know, to talk to others, you know, in your community, you know, to make sure that they're not numb to it and desensitized to it, you know, because this will still go on. So just, you know, watch out for all your brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just try to make some sense of it and be a better man, you know?
Indeed. Good take, Mark. Excellent take. So, fellas, can we move on now? It's kind
Yeah, man.
somber.
Yeah,
It's getting
you know
somber
how.
right now.
Hey, man, you already know.
Yeah. But again, man, you know, shout out to just really the NBA taking a stance and doing something. I mean, something has to be done. Whatever that looks like, we don't know at this point. But something has to be done. So shout out to the NBA, man, to those brothers out there who's really taking a stand on the front lines. And let's see where this takes us, right? So I want to stay in the NBA real quick. I know we got some things going on with the Sixers fallout, and we got the Blazers and Lakers series as well. So do you guys think that, and Mark, I'm gonna have to listen to you, Mark, because the city of Bloody of Love, man, they about to get a lot of love from us tonight, homie. So let's go ahead and
Hey, this is the Philly special show. It's straight Philly tonight, baby.
Man,
It's the Philly special, man. You know what I'm saying, Bull?
Whatever comes up, boy.
Hey, these young Bulls finna get this work today. Philly special.
It's Philly special. So the question is, man, and I saw a lot of reports all week after you guys took that last L to take you out your misery. Got that sweep, man.
Well, we know why that happened, but go ahead.
And so they're saying now, like, do you put Embiid and Simmons on the trading block, and do you feel that Embiid and Simmons are a fit? So Mark, I want to start with you, man.
I'm gonna say like this, right? Simmons, you know, coach and surrogate father was just fired, right? Brett, if you don't know Brett Brown, he's also the coach of the Australian national team, right? So he really hitched his wagon to Ben Simmons. You know, he knows his father, he knows the family, right? And this is why Simmons was able to kind of do whatever the hell he wanted to do out there. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. I mean, he's been an all-star last 2 years. But it's just like when you say things like, oh, yeah, well, I'm not going to shoot till I'm shooting like 43% from three. That means, you know, that's just really throwing in the face of the coach. You can't tell me what to do. I own you, you know? And he's so relaxed and carefree that he assembled a whole team of guys who won't talk back to him, right? I'm like, this is why Jimmy Butler was gone. This is why J.J. Redick, you know, who also spoke up against the former coach, why he wasn't re-signed. So if you have a coach where nobody will talk directly to you, right, then you have unchecked power, right? And this relaxed, carefree attitude that was built into this team, you know, imploded. And that's what happened, right? Joel Embiid, you know, he was just like, you know, not in shape, you know, and everything like that. And I'm going to tell you, you know what's crazy with Embiid? He played some of his best basketball when Jimmy Butler was on the team. And once Jimmy Butler was gone, it was back to, you know, he's a guy who needs some leadership. He can't do it on his own. He's not a leader. He's a good player, but he's not a leader. A leader commands respect, commands, you know, the attention, and look, we're doing it my way, and this is the way we're going to win. He's not that player. And Ben Simmons certainly not that player because he do what he want to do. Now, here's the problem, you know, with Simmons, right? Which I have more of a problem with him than I do Embiid. I think if you get the right coach in, I think Embiid will be fine if you get a coach who demands of him. But Simmons, I think, you know, might balk at that and just be like, look, I ain't shoot before and I've been an all-star, so I'm not shooting for you either. And then all of a sudden, you know, you might walk down a road where he's like, you know what, I don't want to play here, trade me, right? Trade value goes down for Simmons, right? While it's high now, it could get lower because he wants to do what the hell he wants to do. And I'm saying, like, Elton Brand's scared to do anything because he a new GM. You know, he only been GM for 2 years. You know, he ain't like he a seasoned veteran as a GM. So He already came out and said, I'm not trading either one. But I think if anybody gets moved, it's going to be Simmons first You know, especially if the new coach tries to be a disciplinarian with him and say, you know what, you're not shooting, you're going to sit next to me. Simmons ain't going to go for it. You know what I'm saying? And since he's not going to go for it, I'm just like, that's a problem waiting to happen. And if it does happen and he demands a trade, the value is going to be lower. You're going to get less in return, and that's not what you want. That's the worst outcome for anyone.
Right.
Well, listen, man, I ain't finna give a whole bunch of analytics. I'm finna talk that shit. I want to go back to trust the process, and we got an MVP, and Simmons is this. I want to hear that shit. All I heard just now was a wah, excuse, wah, excuse, wah. Hell no. Talk that shit. Hey, Sean, am I right or am I wrong? We heard a lot about trusting the process. We heard a lot about this is the process. Hey, this is not analytics talk. This is fan talk. And fan talk right now is saying Philly is trash. They've been trash. They didn't do shit with all them number one picks. They would have got Markelle Fultz. Hey, nah, they trash.
No, you put like this, right?
I'm just saying.
Like, look, put like this. We didn't do what we're supposed to do, right? We're trash by our standards. We ain't trash by your standards.
No, y'all trash by anybody's standards.
Your standards is trying to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? We make the playoffs all the time.
Yeah, after trusting the process for 18 years, you should make the playoffs.
You make it all the time. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, bro. You mad at me right now. You mad at the wrong person.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying, like, look,
you should be mad at hey, wasn't that Winky or whatever? That's who you should be mad at.
Listen, I didn't like him either.
The process, the process did not work. This is. I wish I could tag Merv. I mean, not Merv, but Mert. I wish I could bring Mert on here, man.
I'm here.
Mert.
Oh,
yeah, Mert. I wish I could bring. I wish I could bring Merty Mert on here, man.
That's my goddamn girl right there,
man. Taking stuff out of context. Like, I'm already explaining what the team was. I explained it every single season. You know, I was like, when they got rid of Jimmy Butler, I knew that was a mistake. Like, I knew it. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't get rid of Jimmy. Jimmy left.
No.
It's a difference. It's a difference. Hey, tell him, Mert.
You know why Jimmy left? Hey, y'all know why Jimmy left, right? Hey, Jimmy want more. Jimmy want more.
Jimmy. Philly got swept, but Jimmy sweeping. I'm just saying.
Jimmy going to the next round.
Why did they didn't trade him because they wanted to, Mark?
No, they traded him. You know, they traded him for Josh Richardson.
They didn't trade him because they wanted to, though, Mark. They didn't want to trade him.
Brett Brown don't like him. That's why. That's why they traded him. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly why they traded him, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh shit!
What is he talking about?
Oh shit!
Oh man!
Hey man,
facts with him right.
I am spitting facts. The facts is the process is not trusted.
I'm gonna come to March.
It died last summer.
Of course you are. Because this is what you do. You talk all this shit, and then you want to go to his defense. Remember when you was on the phone, you was like, "Yo, fuck Philly, they trash. Fuck Embiid, he's trash." So now you remember all that shit.
You know what? Here's the thing, man. First thing, listen, if a guy's an all-star, you can't call him trash. He's a fucking all-star. You know what I mean? 400 players in the league, and you need 20.
You want to know? We can run down some people that were all-stars that shouldn't be. So that don't mean shit to me.
Let's try
He got two. He two?
You know what I'm saying? Simmons got two, Embiid got 2 or 3. What are you talking about?
So what? What do we care about that?
Yo, Embiid was an all-star for the rest of his career. What the fuck are you talking about?
So, do you want to know what the fuck I'm talking about? I'm talking about first-round sweeps with 18 first number 1 draft picks. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, well, go ahead, Sean.
That's nasty. Listen, the process was never a process. We believed it was a process.
Y'all did.
Yeah, I mean, people believe
y'all did.
The term process was tagged because he wanted people to feel that they were doing something. I'm saying, hey, when you say the process, he's saying, look, let's dub it the process because we want people, our fans, to feel that we're doing something. When in our reality, he get into that office, he like, yo, what the fuck are we doing right now?
I thought they was losing. I thought they was losing on purpose so they can win a championship. Now,
They were losing because they were losing, but they caught the process. So the
No, they lost on purpose. I mean, you know, that's the way. But then they got rid of the guy.
So now we're in the process continued. They're losing on purpose now because they wanted another better draft pick.
No, but this ain't about
So
this ain't about draft picks now.
They want someone else to come into the fold. So they had to lose on purpose again.
If you man,
listen,
they trying to coach them up. That's what they're trying to do.
Like I said, this fan talk, all we've heard from fans is trust the process. And then when they started winning a little bit, it was the process has been trusted. We on our way. You start calling Embiid the process. He is the process. He always processing his ass into somebody motherfucking hospital because he stay fucking hurt.
Come on, man.
He need to go process his ass way to Jenny Craig because he fat as fuck. I told y'all I'm going at Philly's neck tonight, baby. The Sixers are trash, man. If you lose 18 years in a row,
the Bobcats are trash.
The Bobcats are trash.
Make the playoffs.
They are. The Bobcats are trash. I don't care about the Bobcats. I'm a Hornets fan. I'm a Hornets fan.
Make the playoffs one time.
Oh, so is that that's what we're defining as success now? Is make the playoffs. Making the playoffs is success?
And y'all can't do it.
Playoffs is success, right?
Y'all can't do it.
Hey, so playoffs is success, right?
Y'all can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Anything successful.
I do.
Anything successful.
The Sixers have done what is successful.
Man, we in the playoffs. We all got.
Like Danny,
tank successfully.
Like Danny told you. They tank successfully. Hey, they do tank successfully. I will say that. I would give them the credit that they deserve. No one has purposely failed the way that they did. And they went and drafted two people, one who should be an MVP candidate by some standards, and one who I'm gonna keep it funky. I like Ben. I do like Ben. Ben is one of them guys, like, he's a problem. Ben is a problem. Okay, because he can't shoot, but this is why he's a problem. Because Ben can do whatever the fuck he want to do aside from shoot. And in the NBA, you don't have to shoot in the NBA. When you can drive to the hole, that's just like, look at Giannis. Giannis is playing power forward, but he's playing it in a point guard manner. So he's playing like point forward.
That's what
he has more points in the paint than anyone in the league since Shaq. So that's telling, and he's an MVP candidate. So when you're able to do that, when you're able to get to the lane whenever you want to, you can be a problem. So that's why I say Ben is a problem. But at the end of the day, the Sixers are trash, and we can move on.
No. I got.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're on some bullshit.
I'm not. Man. It ain't because I'm disagreeing with you. It's bullshit.
No,
nigga. It's facts. They trash, nigga. They trash. You finished. You got nigga. You got somebody coming in saying, "Hey, I want to have 60 wins." They win 43. You got somebody come in and say he want to average like 30 something and something, and he putting up fucking Chris Middleton numbers and shit.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying? Like get the fuck out of here, bro. Like nobody gives a fuck about that, man. Listen,
man, please,
Merv,
I know they garbage. Here's the thing.
College too, nigga. Fuck out of
here. Get like us. Catch up. Get like us. Catch up. Get up. Catch up. Catch up. Hey, that nigga tight. He's tight right now. Because I'm talking about the Sixers. He's tight, nigga.
Some bullshit. That's
no, he's tight, nigga.
I'm enjoying it.
Let Merv speak.
Fuck out of here.
That nigga tight, Sean.
Let Merv speak.
Hey, that nigga tight, Sean.
Man, you corny as shit, boy. Fuck
Hey,
out of here.
we can talk shit about everybody, but when it come to Philly, we supposed to be
No,
quiet.
I'm just
No,
saying.
nigga.
Y'all mean
Them
no?
niggas trash, nigga.
Talk facts.
Them
You don't
niggas
talk
trash.
facts.
I am
And
talking
Bob
facts.
Pratt,
The facts
Hornets,
is they ain't
and
made it to the
Bonding
conference playoffs.
Yeah,
You
Bob
got
Pratt is
you
trash.
got three number one players on your team, and you
know what
can't
I'm
make
saying?
it to the conference
You got
playoffs.
no number one players on
Exactly.
your team. What the fuck?
That's in my favor. That's
Yeah.
in my favor.
30 wins.
That's
What,
in my favor.
25 wins. How many wins?
That's in my
15
favor.
wins?
Yo, so in other news,
Y'all
the
garbage.
Blazers and the Lakers are now
No, Sean, he's left. No, don't leave. I have something to say.
Yo, Merv, what you got to say, man?
Huh? No, let them finish though. I'm enjoying
No.
this. I got my popcorn, nigga.
I'm done, man.
That's
This
true.
nigga say he got popcorn. I'm done. I
No,
said what I
man.
had to say.
No,
I'll talk the trash teams. You know what I mean?
the consensus is the Hornets, the garbage, and the Sixers are garbage. So that's the consensus right now.
No, the Hornets are garbage. But
Yeah,
let's
they
be
garbage.
honest. Wouldn't you say that the Sixers are more garbage, being that they have
No.
all these top five
Nope.
picks?
Nope, we go by wins, baby. We go by how many wins.
Logically
That's what
speaking,
we do. We go by how many
Like,
wins.
isn't that logic? Like,
Y'all got less.
logically
hey,
speaking,
go ahead, Merv. Do your thing, Merv. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done, Merv. Or we can go on to the next Philly topic.
Fuck out of here.
Merv, anything you want to share before we close this one out?
Man, I actually think you keep both of them. You don't trade them, and I agree with Dre. The fact that Ben could do what the fuck he doing and can't fucking shoot. Matter of fact, let's do one better. The fact that Ben could do what he's doing and he won't shoot. He refused to shoot, and everybody knows that he's not going to fucking shoot, and still able to do what he does in the NBA. He is a fucking problem. In my opinion, you don't trade Embiid. You don't trade Ben.
Okay.
You get the right coach in there. You keep that talent. It's hard to replace. It's hard to find new talent. Joel Embiid, you don't find a talent like Joel Embiid every year or every draft. You don't find the all-around talent and athleticism of a Ben Simmons every year.
Right.
In my opinion, it's almost like everybody that has managerial or supervisor experience. All right, it is better and easier to retrain than to rehire.
Right.
So in my opinion, this is the same thing. Is better or easier to find a coach that has basketball one-on-one, basketball X's and O's, and basketball motivation to coach them, as opposed to trading Embiid or trading Ben Simmons. So my opinion, you keep everybody. You don't blow the team up yet because they got talent, but their talent have underachieved drastically.
Yeah.
So you get the right coach. I heard.
Coach,
I've seen somebody. I think I seen on Facebook. Somebody mentioned bringing in Larry Brown, and then I also saw that Mike Brown, the old Cleveland coach and Lakers coach. I heard he's a candidate. I wouldn't get Mike Brown. If they can find some kind of way.
Is this nigga smacking on popcorn while we on TV?
Yeah, like, we live, man.
We're not just on Facebook.
And he
no, it's pistachio.
His mouth, like
right, like
it's pistachio.
What the fuck, man?
He's casually putting his mouth, like in the middle of a conversation. Like, while we talking,
why he talking?
As his
shit coming out,
he popped it in. Yeah, this dude, man.
So if I'm Philadelphia, I'm trying to figure out how the fuck can I entice Larry Brown to come back to Philadelphia. In my opinion, Larry Brown would be the best.
Years old now, man.
Yeah, Larry he's years old, man. He probably even know the Sixers like who they are. He's like, what do you mean?
No, I think he still follows them.
So let me ask you,
but I'm like, he's just old. That's all.
Yeah, he's an old guy. He might not even know what's going on right now.
As far as like NBA coaches available, who would be better than Larry Brown? Unless you go now. I also heard somebody talk about the Villanova coach.
He won't come. That's the problem with that. They right. No, listen, this is true. Y'all mean the Knicks in the
I
60s?
just don't understand why we spending so much time
Yo,
on this shit.
Yo, man,
Like,
y'all mean, look, man, we talking
So-
about actually talented players, not
Let's-
these
So
bum ass.
that's all.
nigga, your coach just got fired, nigga.
Because he's trash.
Like-
That's why. That's
All
why.
right, so let's
I mean,
they
terrible.
trash too. Let's go on. Let's.
I mean, no, fuck out of
Hey,
here.
you're a reflection
Hey.
of your leadership. So it's
No.
time for our leadership
I didn't
to take
reflect
us to the
leadership,
next
Captain.
segment.
You the
Look.
captain, right? You the captain? Yes, I'm the captain. You the captain? Yes.
What
So
the
That
fuck
doesn't
is
reflect
Merv talking
leadership,
about?
Captain.
So, Merv,
Nonetheless,
Hey, let's go to the
Nonetheless,
next topic, man.
nonetheless, the Sixers shit and got swept. Period. So moving
Facts.
No,
on.
they shouldn't. No, for
Moving
real,
on.
facts.
Moving
They
on.
should
So
not have.
let's get into some
Yeah.
hip hop. So every week we do with the
I thought we were
re-review.
doing Blazers in Portland.
Nah, that's out of here too, man.
come on, Dame is out for game 5. You know,
Yeah.
they done.
They're done.
Dre, collect your bet.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
you and Stacks make sure y'all send
Yeah.
my bottle.
That's
And
it,
don't
that bottle.
forget, I specifically said Hennessy privilege. So
Yeah.
don't send me no bullshit.
Yeah.
Send that nigga some
Yeah, matter of
T-Pain.
fact, this is our new thing. Get the motherfuckers out of here. Get the Blazers the fuck out of here. They shouldn't even be in the court no more. That's the award they're getting from us right now. They teased us in game 1, and now they just went the shit in the last.
Yeah, playoff Bron.
They didn't get swept. They didn't get swept.
It's well, but get them out of here. Get them out of here.
Y'all wasn't even in it.
Motherfucking dirty.
So
Hey,
let's
Mark,
go.
Mark, did you catch that?
Huh? Yeah, I told it. Y'all
I'm
mean,
being
but, you know,
messy. I'm being messy. I'm sorry.
This dude right here is dirty,
I
man.
don't talk to people who don't make playoffs. I don't talk to people who don't make the
You
playoffs.
guys are dirtbags.
You know,
so-
you don't make the playoffs, you don't get no respect.
So let's get into this re-review. So every single week we have the past 3 weeks, going on 3 weeks now, we have done a re-review of an album. The first week we kicked things off with Biggie and Ready to Die album. And then last week we did the Outkast Aquemini album. So now we're going to hop on the Eve album, the Rough Riders First Lady album that she had called Let There Be Eve. And the reason why we selected this album for this week is to also tie into the Rough Riders documentary that has been going on for the past 2 weeks now. Documentary has been really good so far. So we really want to dive into this re-review of the Eve album. So again, Mark, we're going to stay in field. We're going to park the car in field a little bit longer. And I want to kick this off with Merv first, though. I want to get Merv's thoughts on after he had a chance to re-listen to that Eve album. So Merv, what are your thoughts on the album, man?
Wait.
Yo,
Are we just assuming that Merv listened to the album?
I will hope so. I'm being optimistic right now because I would think that he did his homework. And again, we are live, so let's not throw Merv out there. Everybody
No,
knows that Merv
he-
don't
he
Throw him
said
under
it.
a bus like that, like, dang.
Yeah.
He did it.
threw Merv out there. Merv
He
don't
did it.
practice. Merv don't practice. He said it before.
He said, I don't take notes and shit.
Yeah,
I
Merv
just
don't
do-
practice.
Hey, we talking about practice, not a game.
we
Not a
staying in
game.
Philly. See,
We
we
talking
staying in
about
Philly.
practice.
Now you on your game, Merv.
I'm the franchise player,
Yeah.
and we talking about practice, not a game.
Practice. Merv
Oh,
don't
shit.
practice. So Merv, when you heard it back in 1999, and I'm sure that's the last time you heard it, can you tell us what you think about it now?
Oh shit.
So what are your thoughts on the album, Merv?
Yo, I actually felt like the album aged well.
Really?
Surprisingly, so when you mentioned it, I was like, Eve. Further, you're right. I ain't listen to that motherfucker since it was Rough Riders. Since motherfuckers on their goddamn motorcycles doing wheelies and shit. When I was still going to Black Biker Weekend, trying to find the locks, or trying to find X, see where the fuck they at. Oh, they're on tour. Oh, they're doing a
So you was trying to find everybody but Eve.
Hey,
I'm just
listen. No, listen. He was fucking Stevie J.
Hey Dre,
So I
you
was-
walk up in there like, yo, wait a minute.
He was fucking Stevie J.
Hey, you already know, nigga. I'm looking for Eve first.
Hey.
You walk up in there, where the niggas at?
Nigga, the lock's
No.
cool, but fuck that. I want Eve. Where Eve at?
Right,
I want to see the illest pit bull in the skirt.
right.
He was fucking Stevie J.
Speaking of Stevie J, I got this picture here where you can see
What the
Stevie
fuck,
J.
nigga? You just gonna whip out a picture of you, Eve, and Stevie J?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, wait. I was trying to see that was him in there. I was like, all right. I got
Yo,
it.
that's
Is that him?
That's 20-year-old Sean. That's Eve, and that's Stevie J right there. Me and grilling right now. Like, yo, what is keep out of that nigga right there. Keep out.
Hey, so for those that don't know, Sean is a real life fucking celebrity stan. Like,
What, man?
nah, man. Like, should I tell the story about when you met Michael Jordan?
Whoa, what are we
Or
talking
should I tell the story when you met Roy Williams? Like,
oh, yeah, that was yo. So I was going to the suite. I was at a Hornets game.
Oh boy,
We had the suite, and
I heard the story too.
and you notice how I say this. Matter of fact, hold up,
nigga, shit, man.
yo.
What the fuck?
This is a picture of me and my family at the suite. You know what I mean? You can see the polo hoodie. But anyhow, I saw Roy as I was walking up. I said, yo, Roy, I'm a big fan. I'm a Carolina Tar Heels fan. And he shook my hand and said, yo, keep supporting us. We got some good things coming. That was it. But he was looking at me like, well, I'm going to that suite. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say how I got there, but I went to the suite.
That's all you said? That's all you said was I'm a big fan?
I'm a big fan. Like,
Hey, you gonna tell about your fingers? And listen, you hold it back. I'm gonna tell everything. I'm gonna tell you what your wife had to say. I'm gonna tell everything.
yo, let's keep it going, man.
All right, go ahead.
Yo, so Merv, you heard the album in '99, and that was the last time you heard it. So now you had a chance to see it again. Do you think this album was? I don't want to use a classic. I don't think this album was a classic. I don't think nobody thought this album was a classic.
No.
Out of 5 mics, what do you give it, man? Where do you put it?
Nigga, we don't do mics. We do flames.
Flames. Yeah, thank you.
Yo?
That was new to me, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's definitely new.
Yeah, this came out of left field.
Hey,
So
man, listen. I need new business partners. I can't deal with these niggas.
I'll
Hey,
go
you ain't
with
even say shit about it. I mean, we ain't know nothing about no flame.
right.
Hey, motherfuckers is in the caption.
It is.
Thank you, Merv.
You
When
motherfucker.
Merv is catching shit, we in trouble.
We in trouble.
We in trouble.
So Merv,
How many flames,
do you
Merv?
give it? How many flames do you give it, Merv?
Yo, I give this shit about 3.5 flames.
That's modest.
Yeah, I think this shit with 3.5 flames. It aged well to me, and she touched every angle in this album. You know, she got the songs that was like go hard and shit.
Yeah.
With Drag On, with the Locks, with DMX. She got those songs. She got the songs that was personal songs like the Love Is Blind. If I remember correctly, she had a homegirl that was really dealing with that shit. She had a homegirl that was really getting abused. You know what I'm saying? So that was based off true stories. What else? Heaven Only Knows. So it was a good range on this album. The lyrics were solid. She had from hard songs to like just smooth songs to like songs that make you think and shit that you can relate to, where you know somebody have experienced this kind of bullshit in real life. I enjoy listening to the album, and that I think one of the most underrated songs on this album is the second song, Let's Talk About, Even Drag On. Then I think that's one of the most underrated songs on the album. Like, I really enjoyed that motherfucking song. The fact that's what Drag On. And listen, I know the weakest song in here is the shit with Beanie to me, man. Like that Philly shit. How the fuck you got both y'all from Philly? You got Beanie who can go hard, and like, that's the weakest song on the fucking album, and that should not be the weakest song. Like, that's one of the songs I skipped. They could have left that shit off. That seemed like a B-side song. It's fucking crazy that both y'all from Philly and y'all went that fucking weak on a song. Like, you see E Future Beanie, you like, you getting hyped. Then you hear Play, and you're like, the fuck is this? That's what they came with. But yeah, like I said, 3.5. I felt like it aged well. It still talk about shit that's going on today. It still give it the kind of energy that come out with some of the songs. I can still put it on the day and still be like, I'm rocking. I'm getting hyped. So it aged well to me, surprisingly, even though that I haven't listened to it since the Rough Riders was dominating hip hop and the streets and shit. So I give it 3.5, man. I was pleasantly surprised with doing a retro review on that first album of Eve.
Good deal. Good take, man. Really good take, Merv. I'm kind of surprised. Good take.
Yeah, fuck you.
Oh, but I threw him under the bus.
Yo, Game Time Merv, man.
Hey, we talking about practice, not a game.
What was that movie when old boy said?
Not the game you love, but practice, right?
Yeah. Game Time Merv. That's his name for now. Game Time Merv. So, Mark, I want to flip it back to you, man, because this album came out in '99, man, at a point where I think that the Philly scene was really deep rooted in the roots at that time, because you didn't have any other artists, especially the female artists that came out that strong, and she carried that Rough Riders flag like crazy. Yeah. So what did that movement of Eve, man? What did it do for Philly, man? And how did you rate this album?
Man, this was like all. Well, I'll get to the album in a second, but this, like, when this came in, right? Everything in Philly, was starting to pop again, because I'm like you said, it was the roots before that, through that mid-90s type of thing. The city had a couple things here and there, but nothing that carried over outside of the state or whatever. But when you get to where Eve, you have Beanie Siegel coming up, Philly's Most Wanted, and Major Figures with Gilly, right? Yeah. So you had all of that starting to pop off, right? Cassidy, was on the back end, of that. So it was a lot, like Philly was kind of like a new ground where, like heavyweights from New York were teaming up. So you see Rough Riders, how they had Eve, Rockefeller had Beanie Siegel, Gilly, was talking major deals with people or whatever, just nothing materialized. Philly's Most Wanted got to Atlantic Records. So it was a movement going on within the city, and we were happy, that was going on. As far as the album goes, I think the material of what she spoke about aged extremely well, and kind of, to what Merv said, like, you really could play all of that today, because all of that still happened, is still prevalent, and things like that. So I'm just like, from that standpoint, I loved it. Beats, I'm just like, it was just that era, where everything kind of, they had Rough Riders had their sound, and Eve had her sound within Rough Riders, right? So I'm just like, can you still play it and it's cool? Yeah, but it doesn't really, do what it did back then, but I'm just saying, but the, her words and the material, I think that aged well. Now, to get to for the real point, right? Yo, Philly was all right, yo. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, like, I respect what you said, Merv. It wasn't the song that we thought it should be, you know what I'm saying? But if you listen to the words, and I'm like, I ain't going to beat, because I don't know what Swizz was doing right there either. I really don't know what he was doing right there. Just like, yo, you made that sound very commercial, and Philly ain't commercial at all in anything. So, but when you listen to the words, though, it's kind of explaining, how Philly, was coming up, though. And that's what I liked about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we Black Friday tied, right? Yep. I was like, listen, if you were a Philly artist then, you came through Black Friday before you got to anybody else. You ain't get the Rockefeller and Rough Riders and all of that before you went to Black Friday, because Black Friday was the one who did all the scouting. I think it was a guy named Sadiq at that time that was doing all of that, right? Right. So I'm just like, I like the story within it. I just didn't like the beat. And I'm just like, and we know Swizz. Sometimes Swizz goes a little left field with some shit. And you just like, Swizz, what are you doing, man? You know what I mean? We wouldn't even say Philly like that. And you saying Philly like that on the record. You know what I'm saying? But the message, though, I think, in all seriousness, the message in her album, through a lot of the songs, still prevalent today, still, stuff that make you think, and I can respect that. I'm going to agree with Merv. I'm going to go 3.5 Flames. It wasn't a classic, but I thought it was a good album. Then I think, the message, in their songs kind of can keep that album, relevant a little bit today. So I'll give it 3.5 Flames. That's just what I think.
Okay. So, Dre, I know you wanted to kind of go last on this one. So I wanted to kind of flip it back and forth with you a little bit, because I wanted to pull up when this album came out in '99. It came out September, to be more specific, of '99, and this was the fourth release out of the Rough Riders camp. You had X, who dropped in most people's eyes like a hood classic, and It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. Then he dropped another joint, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, at the end of that year.
Compilation.
Which was just as good. And yet the compilation that came out like in April or '99, and then Eve dropped. When I listened to this album again in retrospect, I remember when I first heard the album in '99, and I thought this shit was going hard. I was like, man, these beats are, it didn't resonate with me until now that those beats were recycled. But the only thing Swizz did was take the previous 3 albums, the 2 X albums and Rough Riders album, and made an Eve album, because he really produced almost everything on that album except like 2 or 3 songs. Matter of fact, only one song he didn't produce, and that was one of the best songs to me, and that was a song, We On That Shit, where PK Killer, ride or die nigga, cause we on that. I had the Galant 99 Galant wood grain steering wheel.
Nigga, that was not wood grain. Don't tell nobody else that a Hyundai, a Mitsubishi, that was not wood grain, nigga. A Mitsubishi ain't coming with no wood grain. Nigga, you ain't talking about a Cadillac.
I had the Mitsubishi Galant with the wood grain interior. I was 19 years old. I had just got that joint out of Camp Lejeune. Shout out to Camp Lejeune for fucking me over with the payments on that joint, because I didn't know what I was doing.
You was paying like $825.
Nigga, I was paying like $400. And
Galant in '99?
Yeah, that shit only costed $10,000.
Murph, I had a '99 Galant E99, fresh off the lot. I had no credit. It was like, yo, what's your rank? I'm an E3, fresh, my first duty station. They were like, sign here. I'm like, bet. Yo,
you
then I
come.
went over to AutoZone and bought some 12-inch speakers. They put in the back some Sony.
So that means you had some 6x9s and shit.
6x9s, baby. I put them in the back, and I was playing that We On That Shit. When I got to pick up my wife, who was my girlfriend during that time, I picked her up, and I'm like, you hear that shit in the back bumping?
And she was like, no.
She was like, oh, we rich. Yo, and I had a Car Canal sweater vest with no shirt under it.
Yeah, you was Rough Rider out there.
Rough Rider.
Oh, shit.
Nah, no shirt. Yeah, that's Rough Rider all day.
I totally agree with you, man. I didn't realize how recycled it was until I started listening yesterday, and I was like, "Fuck, Swizz," and so it pissed me off. I'm a fast forward, because it tied into the Rough Rider doc. I know we ain't supposed to be going there yet, but it pissed me off because now I see what those guys were talking about when they was, what I perceived originally as hate. Like, I was like, oh, they just hating on Swizz because Swizz is the one that came out. But when you hear Eve's first album, you start to think like, nah, the nigga should have did a whole lot more tracks. Something that me and Sean talked about on a different thing was we was talking about Nas. And we was having a conversation about how Nas doesn't pick beats. And a point that Sean made that I'm going to give him credit for. Like, everybody know I hate to give Sean credit, 1. And 2, I hate to give Nas credit. One of the things that he was saying was, Nas and Big Crit, they have a voice that is used as an instrument. And I understood exactly what he was saying, and that's the same thing with Eve. So I think the production points coming from Swizzy were missed because he didn't use her voice as an instrument. She's not if you listen to her sonically, she actually has a voice. Like, you can hear that she probably can give you a couple notes, sort of along the lines of Missy, sort of, kind of, but definitely along the lines of Left Eye. So what you wasn't able to get that from her because Swizzy has those rugged ass beats and his sonics are a whole lot different. They were like, I guess we could say futuristic sounds at that time because it was a lot of all that shit coming in, and it's like, what the fuck is that shit coming from, or whatever. So I don't think, and that's what to me brings the album down. Her lyrics, like, let me tell you, on Philly, I'm not a fan of Philly. She ate beans alive. And we're going to a competition frame. Like, this was a time frame where you sat in the studio together and you wrote your lyrics. Unless you was Jay, you just put them up here. Nas could never do nothing like that. But you wrote your lyrics together, and so it was a competition. And she ate beans alive. And that speaks a lot, because Bean was, he wasn't no punk when it comes to that to that microphone. So Swizzy, I feel Swizzy is the reason the album gets 2.5, 3 mics, or 2.5, 3 flames.
Flames, keep it right, nigga.
Damn. I think, and again, we'll talk about this year. I do look at that album as being overproduced. And I'm going to use that word like that because when you have an album that is, give you an example, the Lock's second album, We Are the Streets. Lyrically,
is that the Wild Out album?
Yeah. Fuck You and Wild Out. Yeah.
Jigga My Nigga Wild Out remix. Yeah, I got you.
That album, if you listen to the production, it is solid, but it's overproduced. Right. And what I mean by that, it drowns out the content of what the Lox was saying. That whole album, they were shitting on Puff, right? Thanks. And Jada was in a bag. Jada was in his bag. He was assaulting that album. But that album was overproduced. The production was so heavy, it didn't match. It didn't match the lyrical content that you were having. It was overshadowing some of the content because the beats and everything was so heavy. It was overproduced. That Eve album, it was something that we still was getting used to because our ears didn't get used to Swizz at that time. Because again, Swizz didn't produce a lot of albums off that first X album. He produced more on that second album, and he produced more on the Rough Riders album. So go ahead.
I want to interrupt. I think that's what pisses us off. I don't necessarily want to speak for you, but right. I think on X's album, he was kind of like, yo, I've never done this and I'm going to do it. I'm going to just go with it and make it happen. Whereas Eve, it was like, this was my formula to success, or this is what I'm going to do.
Right. But if you notice with Eve album almost mirrored X's album, his first album, in tone. If you really listen to it, it mirrors like a mesh of first and second album. They kind of mirrors each other in a way, in format, in formula.
No, okay, that's what I thought you was getting at. Okay, yeah.
And if you listen to Eve's second album, she went away from that. It became a little bit more poppy, and that third album became real poppy because
when did Dre take over? I'm sorry.
Second album. Dre came back on the second album.
Makes sense.
And now you start seeing a shift. It wasn't as hard as that first one. I still think the production overmatched her delivery because it didn't blend well. You know what I'm saying? So I think Eve was a dope lyricist at that time. If she wasn't, I wouldn't have taken this picture with her. When she asked, I wouldn't have done it.
This nigga say when she asked.
Yeah, I mean when she asked, I wouldn't have done it. But she was a dope lyricist, man. It's sad that I think that she could definitely be on Unsung, in my opinion, because if you think about Eve's, the way she came out, man, she was probably one of the illest female MCs during that time, if not the illest.
Yeah, easily, without a doubt.
Without a doubt, right? I mean, you think about it. This is coming off the heels of Lauryn Hill's album in '98, and Eve came after that.
Let's not do that. Because that's not a hip hop album. I don't care what nobody say, man.
It's not. But when Lauryn spit,
she spit like 2 songs.
But you know what though? I'm gonna say something like this though, right? With Eve though, right? I'm just like, yo, she used to really just be in a room with some of the best in the city and give them hell. Like that's how she got that good. Like, I mean, this is before she was Eve. She was Eve of Destruction.
Yeah.
Facts. She used to give them cats hell. You know what I'm saying? So, Beans included. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, man, so that's where that competition comes from. Also, you got to understand, if you're a good MC and somebody else is a good MC, sometimes, you know, you're going to get on the track and it ain't going to be your day. It's just like playing ball, right?
Facts.
It ain't going to be your day, right?
Right.
And that happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I've seen it happen with even Beans on the Philly track. I've seen it happen with Jay and Beans, you know, where Beans got the best of Jay. So, I mean,
Right.
it happens. It doesn't mean it
Happens
happens all the time. It just means it happens, you know, because both of them are dope. When you have two dope MCs, that can happen if you ain't on your game that day.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I want to make a quick sharp turn over to the Rough Riders, Doc. I don't want to be facetious here, but you guys had a chance to venture into the first couple of episodes.
Yeah. X was wild. X was wild. I mean, whatever you thought about X, right? Before watching this, whatever you thought, and you thought he was wild before watching this.
Yeah.
Then you watch this, right? And then you combine all the interviews, the songs, or whatever, and you just like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yo.
wow. Like, even like from a wild person standards, he's like wild. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I loved X's energy, right? I'm like, man, like I said, me and Dre were talking about this before. I was just like, yeah, X is like, you know, the Grant Hill of rap. You know what I'm saying? Even though his thing was self-influence and Grant Hill was an injury, X really could have been great. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna jump in, Mark, because I was
like,
the
man,
one.
it's just like it just didn't happen for him, you know, except that run. He had a really great run, but then afterwards, all his problems caught up with him, and then he was hit or miss after that.
So
you don't think?
how do y'all feel about his run? Because how you feel about what happened that made his run, like, that was a shock to me, you know. So what's y'all take on his run being kind of forced or whatever? Is that do we take away greatness from it because it was forced? Or
I mean, I'm gonna say like this: is to me, it's just like his run when he had his run and he was on his run. I mean, it's almost like anything he could have did was gold. Like,
It was golden, right?
it just
Right.
anything he could have did. But then it's like when it fell off, it's like he fell off a cliff. It wasn't a gradual, you know, step down, right? Like, oh yeah, well this year he's not a superstar, he's an all-star. This year he's not an all-star, he's a good player. No, it was almost like superstar to where the hell he at? Like that you know, just being a fan of hip hop, and I think, you know, for all of us, it's like when you see somebody fall off like that, man, you really feel bad about that because you just like, damn, like I was just bumping all his shit, and now it's like he don't got nothing new, nothing, you know what I mean, that you really want to play or you respect like that. And I'm like, Dre, with you being a DJ, like, man, you think about it, right? After X had his run, I'm like, yo, you know, somebody be like, yo, can you play this X joint? You be like, it ain't from the first three albums. No,
I'm not. Actually, it's the
I can't
opposite, man. I hate him, but like when you talk about like that, I absolutely hate this track. But when you talk about, especially if you do a mixed party, like when I say mixed, I'm talking race. If you play, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Listen,
they go bananas. They
like,
go bananas.
Listen, man, the response to that album, I mean to that joint, is ridiculous.
It's bananas. Mark, I agree part of what you said, but I disagree with the other part. And what I mean by that is, I think that X had one of the best runs in hip hop. If you think about the longevity or the life of a hip hop artist, in average, it's not that much. Think about this. Redman.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
You threw a shot at Nas. You think I'm not gonna come back at you? Your ass. So let's take.
Listen. I'm finna remove myself from the stream because what you not finna do is disrespect Redman in any shape or form.
I'm just saying. Now. Let's take Redman for example.
Bruh. Okay.
Can you put on a Redman album right now today and rock the party?
Fucking yeah.
How?
The goodness.
We don't know that.
Shake your stinking ass. What? Get the fuck out of here. Shake your stinking ass. Nigga, whatever, man. You finna stop playing. You finna stop playing with my dog. Nigga, the fucking Rock Wilder. The Rock Wilder. The
That-
Rockwilder? You finna
That
stop playing
Is
with my
that, is
dog.
that is that red or is that red and meth?
It don't matter. It's
It was,
red.
that was
Oh,
Stop
20
playing
no, it
with my
doesn't
dog.
matter.
20
Hey,
years ago.
Don't do that.
Okay.
20
I ain't
years
coming
ago.
back no more. I
The
ain't coming back
point
no
I'm
more.
making is
Let me tell Bobby I
the-
quit right now.
the lifespan.
Let me tell Bobby I quit
Now you
because
see how
y'all
I
some
feel.
disrespectful ass
Now you see how I
motherfuckers.
feel.
I didn't say
have
nothing
to
about
do with
Nas.
that. I have nothing to do with that.
I ain't
The
say
life-
shit about Nas.
You did. You do a jab. I'm not. Listen. The
Go ahead.
lifespan of a hip hop artist as a legacy act is there's far few between legacy acts in the hip hop game. It's not like rock and roll where you have Rolling Stones, you have Motley Crue, you have these other major groups and major bands, Kiss and etc. All of those guys, Aerosmith. They're legacy bands where their catalog carries through the phase of time. You know what I mean? Because they have a legit following. We ridicule our hip hop giants so much to the point where we belittle them
Yeah,
when
we're
they
fickle.
when they don't come up with content.
We're fickle.
Right, we are fickle. Where the rock acts, people still talk about the Beatles, you know what I mean, as being one of the greatest. And they haven't released anything since the 60s. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's one of those things where I think that X had one of the best runs in hip hop. But the documentary showed to me, like Dre and I was talking about this earlier this week, I never knew why he had to drop that second album. I thought he was doing it because he was so hot. He was like, I'm gonna drop another one.
Yeah, I really thought he was just in his bag. Like he
I
was
thought he
like,
was in
nigga,
his
fuck
bag.
y'all. I'm the hottest thing in the city.
Right.
Well, not the city, but the country. Well, at that time,
Right.
it was the city because if you was New York, you was everything. So he was the hottest thing in the city, and he was like, fuck y'all.
Right. And he was forced to drop that album because Def Jam was going in bankruptcy. They were about to bankrupt, and they had Jay on the roster. They still had LL. They had Method Man. They had Redman. They had some.
They had to pay a lot of people.
They had
Let's-
some legacy acts at that point. But they were, remember that year they had dropped. If you think about 98, I'm sorry, I don't want to take us off tangent. Think about 98. What dropped in 98?
Man, you finna fight. Cause you finna be disrespectful. Go ahead. I see it. I see it in your face, nigga. You finna be
You got-
disrespectful. Go ahead.
In 98, think about who dropped it. Now, Merv, I'm gonna propose this back to you because me and Merv kind of somewhat on the same wavelength when it comes to music sometimes. In 98, you had Big Pun that dropped Capital Punishment, right? Do y'all remember that Source magazine when they had Pun, X, Cannabis?
Yeah.
I think it was Corrupt.
Ooh.
I say that's the original freshman edition. Like
It is.
that's where Double XL
Exactly.
got the idea from, in my opinion. And that
Exactly.
was fresh off that freestyle where where X was like, yo, my people, everybody I came in with, that's who great. I ain't worrying about nobody. Like X, and in a very X way, like he was shitting on everybody. Like
He was.
I'm gonna shit on you, and I'm gonna let you know I'm shitting on you, but I'm gonna still respect you. Like and
Right.
that's what X was, and he was shitting on everybody. So I definitely remember.
X took us out of the shiny suit era. Single-handedly, by the way. He took us out the shiny suit era, right? He transitioned hip-hop from the grip that Puffy had on hip-hop at that time. And he got it back to the streets. He got it back to the grunge, to the griminess. And this nigga was living what he was spitting. When he was talking about sticking you up with a dog, he was sticking people up with a dog. You know what I mean?
Hey, like Sean, hey, remember on Belly? I know Sean's used this for somebody. I forget who it was. I want to say he used it for Merv, but on Belly, when Shorty was at the on the damn bitch smoking a blunt at like 10, and he was like, "Yo, a real grimy loser type nigga." That
Yo.
was X.
Yo, the Nas called the little dude, man, a grimy loser type
He
nigga.
called him a loser. He was like, he's a real loser type nigga. Like,
A loser
nigga, like,
type.
we ain't gonna get this nigga no hope. He was
No
like, yo, I
hope.
had to bag a nigga last night, son. Word. Like,
Right. Like, what you
the
doing?
fuck?
Yeah. So X was that guy. So I do think that X, I think that X was essential to hip hop during that time.
He was.
At a moment where hip hop was kind of like losing its way because they didn't know if they wanted to go the Puffy route. Because again, Puffy was killing it. But Mace had dropped. Mace had one of the best albums, in my opinion, during that time. Harlem World was fire.
The first album. Yeah, the first album was good.
First
album was
fire.
good. Yeah.
Yes. So X
till he started shooting niggas out of cannons.
Yeah.
No, that was the group.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, bro.
That was trash.
So, bro, what do you think, man? You think X deserved that? You think the whole Rough Riders movement, especially Murder, you being in Georgetown, being so close to Myrtle Beach, Bike Week was like I know Dre, that's what I asked before. Do you think that Rough Riders should own some stake in the black bike culture?
Yo, from like
I'm sorry. Hold on. Before you get started, Merv, let me just transition. So listen, fellas, it is now what 9:30 on the east. I'm in Mountain, so it's 7:30 here. We finna give a salute and we finna say deuces to Blackjack. Everybody on Blackjack TV. Next up is Whiskey Wednesdays. Those are our other homies, and we're taking over Blackjack on Wednesday. So we go live and then they go live. We're gonna stay here on Facebook. We're gonna stay here on YouTube. So we just want to give a salute to Blackjack TV. We'll see you all Saturday night.
Word.
Go ahead, Merv.
So we ain't got no audience now?
No, we still got
What the
YouTube,
fuck?
Spotify, Apple, and Facebook.
And we get replayed like 45,000 times a week.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, nigga. And we still got a show on Saturday. Those for you out there watching in TV land, we have a show on Saturday night. See the promo? This President's promo.
God damn.
Catch us again on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. Be there or be square. So go ahead, Merv.
What, nigga?
What? Nigga, my words mean something, nigga. Like, if I ain't got an audience, nigga, I ain't about to waste my goddamn words.
You mean like you did on Saturday?
Yeah. Come on, man. Now we still live.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
We know ain't nobody come to see your ass.
Yo, we still live, man.
Oh shit.
Yo,
Hey, nah, he like Ray J. Are we live yet?
Yeah, we live.
We live yet? Yo, fuck Fabulous. Go on, Murph. Do your thing, Murph.
From like straight up between the late 90s and the early 2000s, Bike Week. When you thought about Black Biker Week on Myrtle Beach, you really thought about Rough Riders. You know what I'm saying? When you went to Black Bike, you looking for, because you know they're having parties and shit, they're having concerts, they're having all kind of activities. So you got Myrtle Beach, you got Atlantic Beach, you got North Myrtle Beach, and you trying to find out where the fuck they're going to be at, and that's where the hell you want to be at. So anybody in that used to come to Black Bike during that era, they are looking for fucking Rough Riders. To answer that question, do you look at DMX struggle differently now?
Damn, I forgot that was a question.
Yo, I need to join Whiskey Ways.
Yo, hey,
really, nigga? We promoting?
Oh, I thought it was on mute, man. Man, these niggas are.
Shout out to the homie Bo and D Woods, man. Go ahead.
God damn, bro.
D Woods, y'all need another job, man. Holla at your boy.
Yo, I compare X more to like I think Mark said Grant Hill, but when I think of somebody, I think of he's great. I'm going record that he's going down as a great. That kind of run that he had, that kind of effect they had on hip hop, I consider more like a Gale Sayers. If you're a football head, then you know who Gale Sayers had. For like 4 or 5 years, he had an injury that fucked him up. But about 4 or 5 years, straight fucking dominance for like 4 or 5 years before the injury fucked him up. And in my opinion, DMX had an injury. It was a different kind of injury, but what I learned man, it's crazy. Like, you really gotta be careful who the fuck you do shit with. You know what I'm saying? When I found out that his shit came from a lace cigarette, like, what the fuck? From somebody he fucking trusts?
Right.
that
So you
got
get
him on that shit. It's
So I
fucking
got a
crazy,
question,
man.
Do we? I'm finna be politically incorrect. Do we take a crackhead's position or because Buddy said, nah, that shit ain't happen. Like I ain't get it. But we know X is a crackhead.
So let me
Like,
ask a question.
so why we take the
all right, cool. Let me ask a question. You ain't got to answer this question. You don't have to answer this question. It's rhetorical. All right. You consider. Let's say
you know
consider,
I'm gonna answer it, right?
You don't have to answer it. But let's say if I ask you and you consider you addicted to sex. All right.
Whoa,
you remember,
nigga, what?
Well, just hold up. Well, nigga, I told you ain't got to answer. Nigga, I told you ain't got to answer. I said rhetorical.
Yo.
You were talking about, oh, you know I'm going to answer. I told you,
motherfucker.
When I said, listen, man, when I say you don't have to
You're right, Mark. That was dumb on my part. What the fuck?
Listen, motherfucker, if I say you don't have to answer, you should know I'm about to say some shit. I thought y'all worked with me long enough to know.
Hey.
What the fuck? I don't even know. Like, I feel like we should just end it. Like, no, nigga. All right, nah, we gonna take X word. We gonna take X word.
No,
hey,
no, but hold up.
Hey, I'm finna pull a Mark. Go on the fuck on, boy. Go on the fuck on, boy. Like you tripping,
I'm making
boy.
A point, man. I'm making a point. It's rhetorical, right? But listen, if you let's say you addicted to sex, all right? You know what I'm saying?
You said it again.
Everybody that's addicted to sex, I bet all y'all remember y'all first piece of ass. You don't think this motherfucker remember his first lace goddamn blunt, even though he's fucking hooked on crack? You remember that first motherfucking high?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you remember that shit. Of course, Ron, you could deny putting a motherfucking hooking up a motherfucking somebody that's loved and beloved and considered great. You gonna deny
now I'm finna ask a question.
Crack?
It might be a dumb question. Can you put crack in a cigarette though? I just thought crack had to be on.
But crack ain't the goddamn.
I thought it had to be on aluminum foil or in the glass.
No,
nigga, are you serious right now?
Hey, you learn something new every day, nigga.
You serious right now?
Drake's a clean dude, man. Drake's a cookie cutter, man.
I mean, shit. You could do, I mean, you could put that shit in anything, man. You know.
Yeah, man.
Man, what you think? Like, that's how they put dust. They put dust. What you think Raekwon was saying?
Dust is different. Dust is different. I'm talking about
no different.
He's a crackhead. He's a crackhead. But I'm with you, Murph. I understand what you're saying, Murph.
No.
All right, so
watch Snowfall. Watch Snowfall. They'll teach you.
Watch Snowfall, agree.
Check this out. Whiskey Wednesdays, they just sent me the link. I'm finna jump on with them. Hey, y'all have I'm gonna give y'all my salute. Hey, y'all be easy.
Yo, Dre, real talk, Dre, you need to grow up, man. You know you can't figure out how to do crack. You gotta grow up, man.
Oh, I should have tried it, huh? I should have tried it. Yeah.
Yo, you need to grow up, man. You need to be an adult for once.
Damn, niggas. I hate niggas.
So in a nutshell, X did have, to me, one of the greatest runs out of any hip hop artist. I do think that the drugs steered him off. I still think about X in a way where you look at where X dropped off, Ja Rule picked it up. And although we want to hate on Ja Rule because of what 50 did to him, Ja Rule had just as strong of a run.
I want to go deeper than that, though. Go ahead, finish. I'm just saying.
I don't decide a Ja Rule joint.
We should go deeper on the next one with that Ja Rule shit.
We definitely should do a show. Saturday night, I want to tie in Ja Rule into hip hop because I think Ja Rule is very, very disrespected in the hip hop community.
Very disrespected. And he's wrong. Ja Rule's been done wrong.
I got so much to say about that.
Yeah.
We save that.
But what I did want to say is, here's my issue with the Ja Rule and DMX, the intertwiners that they run. One, I think X is a very fucking jealous guy, and the reason why I say that, to rob and steal, there has to be some envy in your heart, and he was one of the. No,
to rob and steal, it got
there has to be some envy in your heart.
Nah, my nigga.
I'm telling you, just listen to me.
Bible,
listen to me.
I'm saying.
So
That's
to
survival,
rob
man.
is still
That-
no. Sometimes it is. But
You need to
a
grow
lot
up.
of times when you just robbing niggas, it's
Okay, if you
because,
can say
oh,
that,
that
now,
nigga got it and I don't.
I'm good with you saying that. When you first said it, you made it sound like any nigga that rob and steal is from jealousy and envy.
Nah.
When you first said it, you made it sound like 100%.
Nah.
It's like, yeah,
But
okay, all
to
right.
rob and steal is envy. That's first thing. Listen,
Some
man, you
of it
making me miss
yeah.
my fucking. You making me miss my points.
That's what you did
But
me earlier.
that's his.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's his first jealous point. His second jealous point is with Ja. Ja started coming up, and he started kind of moving into his lane, and he felt the way. Then he felt the way when Jay-Z took over Def Jam and started succeeding. So he felt the way. So I think he has a little bit jealousy in him, and I think that caused him to have a rift with Ja Rule. Here is my reason that I have a major beef with him having a rift with Rule. If it wasn't for Irv Gotti, there is no DMX, there is no Rough Riders whatsoever. So just out of pure loyalty and thanks to where you were able to get to
I do.
from Ja Rule and Irv Gotti, it should have never been a problem. That's
agree.
like one thing I can't do from this point forward. The only thing I'm gonna shit on Danny about is the fucking Falcons. Like that would never change. Like he's a cornball for liking the Falcons.
Facts.
But everything else he do, like me and Danny gonna be good. Just because of this opportunity, and this opportunity is not making me a millionaire.
And I kind of respectfully disagree with you on a lot of the shit.
Of course you do. You're Murph.
Yeah,
What
I
else
guess
do we
so.
expect?
Murph.
Like,
The
so one thing with DMX, you motherfuckers that become great at something, all right, no matter what it is, whether it's military, whether it's you the top insurance seller, whether it's a wide receiver, a quarterback, hip hop.
Hey, you
Motherfuckers
notice you didn't say safety, but go ahead. That's either.
You know what I mean? That's why I keep my foot on his fucking neck, Sean. All right. So my bad. I had a moment. I'm sorry. My bad, fans. I'm sorry, fans.
Hey, all right, you gonna talk that one fan back up.
Speaking of, where's Stacks? Stacks was gonna bring in by this time.
Nah, Stacks was in, but we was, Stacks ain't give us a minute. And Stacks was like, fuck y'all. He left. Then he came back and he was like, fuck y'all again. He left again.
Yo,
Why you bring the nigga on when he's
Nah,
ready?
because this is why I didn't bring Stacks on. Because Sean know how I feel. Like was all started out of fun. So I prefer that we have our vulnerable talking points, off camera. And
Okay.
so I didn't want to keep going and keep going and keep going. So that is why I didn't bring them in or whatever. It was no slight to Stacks, but I just didn't want to just keep going all night. I even told Sean before we started, I feel like this is going to last way too long. It didn't.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of the talking points today had a lot of layers that we could peel back. So I could see how the fuck we could probably be on motherfucker for 5 hours if we had that kind of fucking time and no life.
Right.
But
hey, McDonald's 24 hours, so we can make sure Marco get the tenders.
Make flurry. Make
hey,
flurries.
motherfucker, stay focused. So when you become great at something, man, most people that become great at something, they have this solid, this hidden bravado. Not even hidden, but they have this certain bravado about them that anybody that comes in their area or even they feel like some kind of threat, they're like, yo, what the fuck you doing? This is my area. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I didn't piss on this just like a dog. Nigga, I just piss on this area. Don't come in my motherfucking area. All right? Nigga, you can't fuck with me. So I feel more that the niggas that he went after, it was like, even when you saw the Chronicles, when he was coming up, like he was driving around looking for niggas to rob, but he ended up finding niggas to battle, and he was like, yo, that's just as good. Like the niggas are a fucking natural competitor. And whoever's in his way or his area, he wants to fucking dominate and get the fuck out the fucking area.
Robbing is a competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
Yeah,
nigga.
it actually is. You know what I'm saying?
These niggas wild.
You know
What?
Yeah, you can grow up, man.
You know what though? I'm gonna say like this to speak to what Dre was saying, right? I would say when it's jealousy, when it's envy, and this has happened, you know, in the streets plenty of times where somebody, you know, will rob their mans or rob their friend. Like y'all supposed to be cool, and then no, I'm gonna run down on them, right? I think if you running down on somebody that you don't know, I don't think that's so much the case. Not that it can't be, because you could have been scoping them for a couple of weeks. Yo, we shining a little bit too much. Let's run down on him for that. It ain't so much you even want his shit. You
Isn't
know?
that jealousy
Like,
and envy though? That
no,
nigga shining.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm like, and I think half the time it is that way, but I don't think it's that way 100% of the time. I think it's just like, yo, we just caught this boy slipping. You know what I'm saying? We just ran down. So I was just like, and X had that in him, you know, where it could be a friend or a foe, right? It's just like, yo, when it's time, like when he felt it was time to run down on somebody, that's what he did, right? And then
he was out there talking about state your biz, huh?
I'm like, man, but then it's like, but he took that same attitude though, you know, to hip hop, where it's just like, yo, you know, if he felt he need to go at somebody, like, yo, why X do the ball like that? Like, well, that's just who he is, like, you know.
I mean, like if you think about it, so I ain't grew up in the streets, but I'm friends with a lot of people who grew up in the streets. But if you look at niggas that grew up in the streets, a lot of them have that mentality like, yo, nigga, this is my area. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, nigga. Like even with that, I think that was either a Locks or a DMX skit. It might have been DMX. He was like, yo, what the fuck you doing on my block, man? Yo, this your block? Yeah, nigga, I just got out of prison. Nigga, I grew up on this. You from the block? Yeah, nigga, I grew up on this block. And niggas like, yo, grew up down the fucking street, nigga. And it's just like, it's one of them, I think it's just more of a mentality thing. When you grow up in the fucking streets, you just grow to protect your fucking area. Anybody come to your fucking area, anybody that poses a threat, you just gotta get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's think about it. All the niggas that kind of came up through that street life or drug or whatever, it basically have the same mentality. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z.
Nah, I think it's different. I think
DMX.
it's different. I think it's different. I think, and that's the point that we've always talked about. When you talk about Jay-Z and you talk about Jay, I think it was the Hard Knock Life tour, the DVD joint. Yep. And they was talking like, it was Irv, I want to say, and he was like, yo, every hood got a nigga that's flashy. He get all the girls, dressed the nicest. Mm-hmm. That was Jay. Then every nigga got a grimy ass nigga that just do whatever, rob and steal, and that was X. So I don't think they all have that mentality. Like I feel like when you a drug dealer, like I'm trying to put this in the best words possible, and it's escaping me. It's like, but yeah, fuck you, Sean.
That's why I'm here.
I was looking for a Nas lyric, but I can't think of none of his shit. All I can think is I rule the world. But when you put it into that setting, it's not that it's about who's around me, because if you look at drug dealers, the ones that we talk about, they was trying to help everybody eat except for their competition, but everybody needs to eat. Like when you talk about like Freeway is God up there, right or wrong, but Freeway wanted everybody to eat. We talked about last week, we talked about Meech. Meech wanted everybody to eat. Even to an extent, Frank, you know, before he was having his beef or whatever, he wanted everybody to eat. So drug dealers don't have that mentality. Drug dealers is like, yo, everybody get this money, let's shine together. Whereas robbing, it's like,
unless it's a competition. You just said
it too much. You eating too much.
Man,
even just like you said, unless it's a competition.
But even with guys who rob though, like when it comes time for something to protect, they will go into that mode, right? Now I go back to your boy Nas, right? I'm like, yo, man, he had a gazillion guys, you know, who just was doing everything, you know, out there and showing, you know, this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But they would, and you can, they were just like, but you ain't gonna fuck with him because he
Yeah,
got
facts.
he
Because
got,
he's the
he got
one.
this going
Yeah.
on. We
Right.
gonna make sure that he good, and it's the same thing. And I wish I could.
It was him and Roxanne Shante.
I wish we could see this more today.
Yeah, man.
Where the kid who could play ball or the kid who could do this or the kid, who was smart. Like, what I'm saying, we gonna protect him. You know what I'm saying? Like in our day, that's how it was. It's just not as much in this day. But I'm like, when I see it though, I'll tell guys and be like, that guy, y'all make sure he good when he come here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, he's gonna be somebody like, yo, when you need something, he gonna be able to make sure everything is good, man. He on the straight and narrow. You make sure that he don't get into that. You know what I'm saying? So,
but like I said, Dre, you just said unless it's competition. All right. And then Martin just mentioned like somebody, the athlete that's coming up in the streets and whatnot. We basically saying the same thing. So when I was saying X was saying protect my area, not against everybody, I'm talking about potential threat or competition.
X wasn't protecting shit. X was just like, you got it, I
X
want
was
it.
for Dolo.
I don't think you.
I think
X,
bro.
X was for X didn't give a fuck about who you was.
He did.
Like
X
I
was
think,
for Dolo.
I think if
that came from not having money.
I think if Wall and Dean,
even Buck, even young
that's
Buck
whack. That's whack. You supposed to hustle to get your own.
No, but Dre, I think
If Wall and
Dean
Dean came to him and they were broke. And they wasn't dead broke. But if they was in the position, hold on. If they was in the position where Rough Riders had already popped, this is how I feel about X. X would have robbed them niggas and then signed the contract. Like X would have been like, yo, give me whatever you got right now, put the contract on the table, sign, and he would have fucking backed up. Or he would have had little fucking what do you call it?
Boomer.
She talks.
Yeah.
Like he would have had the fucking pit bulls just sitting there growling.
Boomer.
Like, nigga, X was like, I'm serious. When that scene in Belly is perfect for X, a real loser type nigga.
He's a loose cat. But Dre, you gotta look at the fact that with X, if you even see this guy interview now today, he breaks down and cry a lot. X is that dude is broken, man. Like,
well,
that guy got so much pain.
No, I don't take it away from what he is.
Go through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you know what though? When you do a lot of shit, you just have a lot of demons that follow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I got a cousin like this, man. Like, it's just he just did a lot of shit. And it's a lot of things for that followed him. So I'm like, you just see how it is. And it was like, it's crazy because it's just like, yo, and I know X probably says the same thing, like, yo, man, everything that I did, ran down on people, did this and that, was it all worth it? Because the pain just comes out when they talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody knows somebody.
Let me remind y'all of one thing that,
and that's what happened.
As we talk about these actions and these emotions and shit that he's doing, going through as like a young adult, let's also remember what we learned. This nigga was given a lace cigarette at 14 years old with crack in it.
No, I get no.
That's going to affect a lot of your fucking
I don't
decisions.
want anything that I'm saying to be misconstrued. Like at the end of the day, he's still a loser ass nigga at that time. Like I think he is somebody who was trying to climb out his demons or whatever the case may be. And I know he went through some bullshit. Like nigga was smoking crack. Like
at 14.
Yeah, at 14. So that's so to come and then if we want to be technical, to come from that point of smoking crack at 14 and to become this amazing artist, because to be an artist is not nothing easy. Yeah, let's not forget actor. Yeah. To be an artist is not something that's easy to do. Mm-hmm. Like we can sit here and with the exception of one of us, I ain't gonna say who, none of us have a recording career. You know what I'm saying? There's only one rap star amongst us. So but yo, I want to know. Hey,
with this dude, man.
Okay. Is she the when you break down shit? Is she the better lyricist?
No. Of who?
And I'm saying that just because of what of the Locks.
No,
It said right there on the screen. Like you see it below you.
no,
And
man.
I'm just
I thought that was
I'm
a
just asking that.
typo. I thought
No,
that was a typo. I
I'm
didn't
asking
know
that
that.
question. I'm asking that question because of I think it was Wah. And you know, Wah was like Jada, that guy that spit that shit. Sheik is the lyricist for both. He the lyricist for your fellas and for your ladies. And then you know he was like Styles is the conscious rapper. When we talk about Styles, I think he had on. When he talk about Jada, I think he's almost head on. I think Jada is the better lyricist, but I also am a person who believes that Walk With Me is probably the better Locks solo album. I think it just didn't get the radio love, and it didn't get you know it what you know. So he didn't get that love that he probably deserved. So that's why I posed that question.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you one thing, right? You know, and this probably ain't gonna answer your question, but I gotta say it anyway.
What?
The locks, right? With the locks, right? You know what's crazy? I'm gonna say like this. I think Jada, you know, is the best lyricist in the locks, right? But I feel Styles P more. Like, you know what I'm saying? He kind of speaks to me more, like my story, how, you know, like, and all of that. So I like him more because it's just like I feel him more. When he jump on the song, it's like, oh shit, this some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like, yo, I went exactly through what this boy is talking about, right? With Jada, is more like, yo, it's flashy, have a good time, you know what I'm saying, and all of that, and you kind of
What?
styling, you doing your shit. Like, you know what I mean? When Jada, you know what I mean, for real, spit on some shit, he spit that shit. But I mean, it's like really like that shit. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you know what I mean, it's feel good, but then it's like it's bars, it's all of that shit. But Styles P though, you know what I'm saying? He just talked that real life shit to me. You know what I'm saying?
So
I,
for you, Styles is the better lyricist, is the best
no,
lyricist of the
he's
Locks?
not the best lyricist. That's just the guy I feel more. You know what I mean? Out the group. You know what I'm saying? I think Jada's the best lyricist. But like, and I think Sheik is underrated. I think he's underrated. I don't think he gets a bad rap. Like, oh man, Sheik terrible. But I'm just like, well, look, I'm just like, listen, compare. I'm like, especially back then, compared to like Jada, you know, Styles, you know, was kind of coming up or whatever. People looked at Sheik like the weak link, and it's probably more. I think his voice, right? His voice wasn't as good as the other guys, right? So it's just like he got a knock there, in his songs. You know what I mean? For real, like they think they weren't as good, but I thought
I,
Sheik was underrated though,
I
personally.
think it's more so his refusal to do features. So you had Jada and Styles going back and forth all the time. When you talk about like fucking what's Nori shit?
Banned from TV.
Yeah, when you talk about like banned from TV, it's like, yo, where the fuck she at? And them niggas shine. So that's what I think. I think
That
that's
wasn't
why he don't.
that wasn't Sheik's lane though. You know, I think that
You don't
Styles.
think?
That's not his lane because I think if you listen to Styles, I think Styles is the better lyricist out the group. I think that Jada is the better rapper. I think Jada has the style to be able to piece together the better rap songs, whereas Styles have the best lyrics to piece together the songs. Because if you go back to the Jada Kiss and the Beanie battle, and you know, there were some things that Beanie was saying, and he was saying, "Yo, I know why
I can
Styles is
tell
the
by the
GOAT."
styles. This,
You
yeah,
know what I
I
mean?
can tell
I
by
can
your
tell by
time he the ghost of that shit.
you know what I mean? Most of this shit. There was a rumor out there a lot, and it was never shot down that Styles was writing a lot of Jada stuff. They never came out publicly and said otherwise. No, they never did. Jada never came out and said, "Nah, I write my own shit." Styles never said, "Nah, I never wrote his shit." It was never.
Sometimes you some.
It
Sometimes
was
you
never
gotta say
mentioned.
Black Thought never said anything about fucking
Come on, man.
I'm just saying no, I'm not saying it in that manner. What I'm saying is sometimes shit don't have to be said. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Because I think that Styles, if you listen to Styles' album and you listen to Jada's album, like Mark said, Jada going to give you that flavor. Jada going to give you that feel, like, you know, that bounce feel.
Yeah.
Styles going to get you. You're going to sit in your seat and you're going to listen to what Styles saying, because Styles, to me, even if you go back to Styles mixtapes, Styles has some of the best mixtapes out there when he was on his tear. He has you take Styles mixtapes and I put him up against anybody mixtapes out there, period. Because he was going crazy on his
Really?
mix.
I'm gonna tell I'm gonna tell you who I put against anybody, and it's gonna be a shocker. Y'all gonna be like, really? Listen, man, Joe Budden's Mood Music series,
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. I'm putting that shit up against anything. Louisiana, fucking Gangsta Grills. I'm putting that shit up against anything.
Yeah, that's cute. So let's wind this thing down, man. I know we had a lot of content.
Hold up, motherfucker. You ain't gonna goddamn just have me on here singing hooks. Goddamn. I'm gonna drop my goddamn lyrics in this motherfucker too.
This nigga turned into Missy. This nigga is Missy.
My bad. Merv, I didn't see you down there.
I hate when our hip hop references doesn't resonate with the audience. I don't like that shit.
Yeah, we go over their heads, man. I'm sorry.
You know it's bad when Merv go over your head. That's
really bad. Yeah. I didn't even know Merv was down there. I thought he had put his thing on black.
Is this a black joke?
No, you just kind of blended in. All we see is a shirt.
Yeah, like you were like you in the forest right now, like the you know how Dre, you know when you in the field and the moon be shining so bright, you kind of see like
that nigga done went from the campfire last week to the forest this week.
They don't even understand that phrase. They don't understand that like you was hoping that it'd be a full moon when you doing night hunt. You're like, man, please let it be a full moon night so I can see something in these woods.
Yeah,
they don't even know about that, man. But anyhow, I know Marcus is getting hungry, man, and so I want to make sure.
Hey, that nigga finna go order a 20-piece tender, not McNugget, but 20 tenders.
That nigga like, yo, give me the 10
and a Mark Fleury. Hey, we need to. That nigga said he want a Mark Fleury, not a McFlurry, a Mark Fleury. Yo, let me get an Oreo Mark Fleury.
And he was snobby about it. He was like, I want a 20-piece tenders now.
And some great poupon.
And great poupon, bull. And a Mark Fleury. And a Mark Fleury. So, I don't want to skip you, Merv. So before we close that segment out, what did you have to say about that?
Is Sheek the better lyricist of the lot? No.
Okay.
Answer that goddamn question. Y'all never answer a fucking question. Mark went on.
Everybody answered the question.
We answered the question.
Yeah. Mark went a whole 10-minute rant and never answered a fucking question.
He started off by saying Jada was the better lyricist.
Yeah. Damn, Merv.
Yeah, you don't be listening, boy.
You see what happened when you drink that goddamn. He drinking that goddamn Georgetown gin.
It's Jamaican juice. It's Jamaican juice, nigga. Don't you forgot, nigga, from the first episode, nigga. Jamaican juice, nigga.
No, Jamaica called us and said we couldn't do that shit.
They're like, get us the bummer clock out of here.
Hey, nah, she is a dope rapper, but it's almost like being Ron Harper with Pippen and Jordan, in my opinion, man. Just he's a dope rapper, but when you with Sheek, when Sheek is with Jada and Styles, it just it's gonna damn cover him up.
And I heard that before, him being around the other two, and what I'm saying,
I think that goes back to not doing the features. The features is what got him. That's my personal opinion. The features got Sheek.
It could be. Sean, I disagree with you when you said that. I think you said that Styles is the better lyricist and Jada is the better rapper, and maybe our definition could be different. I think it's opposite. I think Jada is the lyricist and Styles is the better rapper. Like it took Jada. Like Jada's one of my favorite rappers. I think he's the best out the lots, but he just doesn't make. It took him a while to learn how to make songs, how to make good songs. Like his lyrics is always fucking fire, but it was hard for me to find a song to put on and the whole shit from beginning and have a good production, in my opinion. Like Gangsta and the Gentleman album, Jada first 3 or 4 albums wasn't fucking with, in my opinion, Gangsta and the Gentleman, the album, the songs, the production, everything. In my opinion, I don't think Jada had an album like that until the recent one, Ignatius. That was his most complete album that he actually learned how to damn make songs. Like I
didn't like that album. I'll be honest.
You didn't like Ignatius?
I
For
didn't
real?
like that album either.
I didn't like
Damn.
it.
I didn't like Top 5 Dead or Alive either though.
I didn't either. I don't like.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. The one they had, I did like the one we had where he had Luther Vandross. He did a sample of Luther Vandross. I can't remember that one.
Yeah.
I like that album. The album was underrated.
I would
But
say normally I would have agreed with that opinion until me and Sean did, and it was just off respect of music. So I'm not gonna say that I whooped Sean ass, but until me and Sean did Jada and J. Cole, I didn't realize how tough Jada really was with making songs. We always knew, and that was one of the things that me and Sean talked about, because Sean was like, does that make sense? Jada is not, you know what I'm saying, a song man. I was like, yeah, but it's gonna be something different. You know what I'm saying? And to our surprise, it was dope as fuck. So if you want to catch that battle, just go to Zingo TV, Blackjack, channel 199. They have us on heavy rotation, and you can catch that battle where it was Jadakiss being represented by myself, and it was J. Cole being represented by Sean. And it's some shockers in there, like some shit that you didn't, you probably wouldn't have heard. Like if I was representing Jada for Fabulous, it would have been a blowout the whole time. That's all I'm gonna say.
So what? So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Dre. Gangster and Gentleman. What Jada albums you got above Gangster and Gentleman? Do you have a lot or just?
Here's the thing. I think Gangsta and Gentleman and was the first one Kiss the Game Goodbye, or was it
Kiss the Game Goodbye was the first one.
Okay,
I have the best one.
I have those two neck and neck. But and it's just me, I have Walk With Me just a hair above both of those. I think Walk With Me is just
Walk With Me was dope. Walk With Me was dope. I ain't going front. Walk With Me was dope. I always had
y'all gonna maybe go back and listen to Walk With Me.
Listen to Walk With Me was dope.
Yeah.
It was
dope.
I
listened to it, but I was just y'all gonna maybe go back and give it another listen.
It was dope. Even before After Taxes was dope in my opinion.
Facts. And that's when that was during the time. That was during the time where it was like, yo, we gotta ride because Beans them ain't playing.
Right. And they were going in.
Yeah.
They were going in on G Unit as well. So I mean, it was like I thought that was a dope album. Kiss the Game Goodbye is one of my personal favorites. I think that was the better album, in my opinion. I thought that it was. Kiss the Game Goodbye.
It's more to it, but I ain't gonna tell nobody.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey, go ahead, do your thing, man.
So we're gonna wrap this thing up, fellas. I know Mark brought this to my attention earlier this week. I kind of stayed away from it for some personal reasons, but Nas dropped a new album.
Yeah,
you did. King's Disease. And I want to go around the horn. Let's start with Merv.
Is this our 60-second wrap up?
No, this is before our 60-second wrap up. Okay. We don't want to. Let's not take too much time on this though. We about to wrap this thing up.
I got you.
So Merv, what do you think about the album, man? If you heard the album already.
Yeah, I listened to the album. The album is solid. It's just man, it's what I expect from Nas. It was I feel like he stayed safe to the album. He stayed in his lane to the album. It was solid album, lyrics. It's what I expected from Nas. I was like solid album, dope album, but it's just what I expected, man. It's kind of smooth. Lyrics is gonna be on point. The beats, like sometimes it's hard for me to get with Nas beats. You know what I'm saying? Like I might fuck with his lyrics, but sometimes I have to listen to his lyrics through the beats with a lot of Nas shit for me to really like the song. Like I still feel like I still like sometimes he just don't choose he don't choose the right beats or the right production to match his fucking lyrics. Like his lyrical genius sometimes just do not match up, align with his fucking beats. I really feel that throughout his career, what held him back as being easily above Jay or like number one or number two is his fucking beats and his production. Like sometimes his beats overwhelms his fucking lyrics. Well, I can't even listen to his lyrics because I don't like the fucking production of the song. Mm-hmm. But lyrics on point. It's fucking Nas. It's solid, dope. It's just is a It's a Nas album.
Okay. Dre, what do you think, man? If you had a chance to listen to it.
I listened to it. I'm kind of with Merv, man. It's kind of what's becoming to be expected of Nas. Like, be supreme when it comes to lyrics and be subpar when it comes to beats. I think one of the better tracks, the joint with Big Sean and Don Toliver. I think that is one time, and I think that matches because Nas is a soulful rapper. Y'all hear me say that shit a lot. Like I like soul, and so that's when I'm feeling Nas. When he got something soulful. Like one of my Nas favorite songs is Project Window. Like you got Buddy sounding like Mr. Big, and you got that slow melodic beat, and Nas he's taking his time over the beat and he letting that shit breathe. That's why that song to me is probably my favorite Nas song. And so it's to a point where I expect this from Nas. I expect for it to be great lyrics and subpar beats. And when that happened with Kanye, I guess it was kind of solidified in my mind.
My favorite Nas song is One Mic.
Man, let me just say like this. I thought the album, going into it, I didn't really expect too much because of what we all talked about, the production. But I thought the production was okay on this one. Like it was a little better than what I thought it was going to be. But still, like with this album, when I first heard it, it's just like, I didn't really like it, right? But then I had to listen to it a second time, right? So I forced myself to listen to it. I was like, listen. So I was like, look, I'm gonna go and get a pair of kicks. I'm gonna go all the way up to the Outlet Mall, which is an hour away from the city, right? So I was like, all right, I got to drive. Let me put on Nas, right? Put on the album. I'm like, yo, this is all right. I mean, lyrically, he's great. We all know that. But I was just like, I was pleasantly surprised with some of the choices, with the beats. I'm like, oh, this goes pretty nice. This is pretty nice, or whatever. I like the song, with Don Toliver and Big Sean. I like the song with Fabio Foreign. I like that Nas will embrace some of, like he'll embrace like some of the newer guys.
And the firm, my
comes
bad.
out. Yeah. He'll embrace some of the newer guys that comes out, and I like that. They don't have to be in his crew or from his neighborhood or whatever. It's just like if he thinks you're dope, like, you know what I'm saying? He'll jump on your project or he'll have you on his. I can respect that. But I was just like, I think Nas is almost like a coach GM. Like he tries to play the lane as rapper, producer. And I'm like, you're a great rapper, right? Lead the production to the other guys. One thing, I'll go back to what Pac said one time, right? He like, look, man, we just lay the tracks down. He's like, man, we lay the tracks down. Rappers in there lay the tracks down. And then, we the rappers, we leave. And then everybody who like to be in the studio, the producers and all that, they want to be there for 24 hours, 48 hours or whatever. We let them do their thing. And then boom, that's how we make the song. I almost wish Nas would do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, lay your vocals, it's some dope ass shit, and then let the producers do their job. You know what I mean? You don't got to be the coach and the GM. And I think, I'm saying, if you look at that job in sports, right, it's a hard fucking job to do. That's why very few people have mastered it. Bill Belichick, Red Auerbach back in the day, you know what I'm saying, with the Boston Celtics or whatever. But very few, and Greg Popovich for the Spurs, have done the same thing. But very few have mastered that. So I'm just like, if very few have mastered this double lane thing, I'm just like, Nas, you're one of the best, for a lyricist ever. I'm just like, why do you have to do the producer job? Let the producers do their job. Let them be great and do what they do. And then boom, you hear it after that. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably my only issue with Nas. Other than that, I think the album was pretty good, better than I expected. And, that's what I had to say about it.
Okay. So before I'm going to try to condense my spiel as much as possible because I had a lot of time to process this over a week. But I want to play this real quick. This joint right here.
What the value of it is.
If y'all can hear it.
Really worth it.
Can y'all hear that?
glasses on instead of make skin bubble. When wet we guzzle. Chris Lighty let me in a few times when
Go play it on your own leisure when you get a chance and just listen to the lyrics on that. But I had a chance to process this for over a week, and I wanted to listen to the album. I listened to the album the first time when it first came out. I went back and listened to some interviews. I went back, I read some comments. I read a lot of content surrounded by this album. And I went back and listened to the album again. And I listened to some more videos and just interviews. He did like a whole interview circuit. And he actually did an interview with the Breakfast Club for the first time ever. And I wanted to gather everyone's thoughts on the album before I started really diving into my own thoughts.
That's what you should have asked.
And I was very, very pleased at the reception of the critics and the hip hop purists and his peers in the game. And I was more pleased by hearing the Joe Budden podcast talk about it, because everything you guys just mentioned, Joe Budden podcast said it before the album came out. And everything you guys also mentioned, the Breakfast Club said it before the album came out. And then when the album finally released, everything shifted and changed. It made them go back and listen to Nas' catalog, and everything that they were reflecting in those interviews, even post and after, post Nas after he left. Charlamagne went back on Instagram and posted some other things, and a lot of other rappers started doing this. I don't know if you guys saw it, but other rappers were doing the same. And they said the myth that people talk about Nas not being able to pick his own production. Number one, he is not a producer, so he's not producing a record himself. Number two, he's not an A&R, so he's not selecting the beats himself. He has people that's doing that. And one of the things I shared with Drake, just in a quick text I sent to him, I said, Nas is essential. And I left it at that. And I meant that after I had a chance to process everything that was going on. So I respectfully respect you guys' opinions on it. But now that my stance is different, because I think a lot of what you guys been saying is bullshit. And here's why. Out of respect, all due respect. And here's why. The myth about Nas not picking the right album, right beats, I go back and listen to Illmatic, It Was Written, and I Am, the first 3 albums. Major productions, great production from some of the top producers ever that even Jay-Z used as well. But we try to figure out a way to humanize Nas because he dropped the Illmatic and he dropped like It Was Written. You go back and listen to a Redman album and he has Eric Sermon doing majority of his production, and those albums become the same. They sound exactly the same. The production. And
No,
I'm not saying it to diss Redman at all, but you go back and listen to an Eminem album and the production is very similar. You go back and listen to a Roots album, a Black Thought album, the production is the same. So your mind starts to think about, okay, this shit sounds the same. This is my favorite artist.
Hey, that's what we doing. We shooting shots before it's time to get on. Hey, we shooting shots, nigga.
You should have brought this shit on early.
Yeah, it's time to go and you want to do this shit.
No, I'm being respectful. I'm being respectful because I got only 2 minutes. I'm at 2 minutes. I'm gonna finish it off. 2 minutes. I was pleased.
This mother just pull a LL Cool J in 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But I'm being respectful.
And where L from? Where L from? L from where? Where L from?
Yeah.
Let me write my other verse. Hold up.
Hey, you won't make me mad, nigga. You want to socialize.
This is exactly why I ain't count LL verse.
Nigga.
I'm being respectful because I said that to say this.
Nigga, you are not, nigga.
I'm being respectful because
nigga, fuck you and your respect, nigga.
But I'm saying, people who claim to be a Nipsey fan, not realizing that the same guy who produced a lot of Nipsey's hits is Hit Boy. Hit Boy did a great job with this album by allowing Nas to breathe on the album. This album, I'm 40 years old, all right? This album speaks to a 40-year-old. It doesn't speak to a 20-year-old Sean. It speaks to a 40-year-old Sean because of the content. But Nas being 30 years in the game and to release an album like this at the age of 46, right? If Jay would have done the same album and his name is Jay, you would have feel different.
Chill out. This is not 444.
But you
nigga.
can't
But this
This is
compare
not
them, and this is why
444,
you can't
dog.
compare
This
The
is
them.
better than
444 is
444.
different.
Because Jay
Jay went
Z
to a
is
whole
gonna
different
spit.
lane than 444.
This
He
is better
didn't stay
than
the same,
444.
Jay. You see
This-
progress in listen, you see
Hey, listen,
progress
it's time to go.
in every
It's time to
album
go.
of Jay.
Yes, yeah.
It's
With
time to
his
go. It's
production and
10:30.
everything. He changed
It's
up in
10:30.
444.
I
You're
hate
not
that
getting
Sean did this, but it's
Yeah,
10:30.
you know what? Okay, yeah.
You're not getting it.
Ooh, you
This is better than
motherfucker.
444. 444
You
is
motherfucker.
444 is what Life is Good was. All right. So
I feel like we've been bamboozled tonight.
Ooh.
Sean
That's-
ain't saying shit all night. He been calm and collected, and he
So-
was like, "Yo, I'm gonna give y'all this niggas time
You
to go,
waiting for this. You
and I'm
waiting.
gonna punch y'all
Okay.
niggas."
but I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna leave it
All
at
right,
this.
nigga.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna leave it at this. I respect what I hear from at the Joe Budden podcast and the Breakfast Club because those guys, they are brutally honest. And if you guys get a chance, you probably won't, but if you get a chance, go back and listen to those podcasts that they posted this past week, and you will get an understanding of what I was trying to share with you guys for the past several weeks now. With that said, Nas is essential. Nas is the GOAT. Stop fronting, stop hating, stop talking about production when he's not even a producer. So don't use that lame excuse. And yeah, Black Thought, he's good, but he's no Nas. Yeah, Jay's good, but he's no Nas. And yeah, Redman is alright, but he's not even Method Man. So
Nigga.
let's go ahead and move on. So Dre, what are your last 60? What are your
Nigga. Oh wow.
What are your 60-second thoughts?
Hey, so I'm a decompress. So here's my and I actually wrote something this time just because it meant so much to me. To a man, a father, and a soldier, I'm gonna say rest in peace to the homie Jeffrey Quattlebaum, better known as the homie QB. So it hurts like hell when a soldier beats blast in Iraq and then they come home and they die in such tragedy. I'm not going to talk about what happened, but just know QB always kept it 100 and solid. The lives that he touched, you know, they're in a world of hurt right now. And so I also want to take the time to pledge that as, you know, the person that he was, and I wanted to make me better. And the reason why I say I wanted to make me better is because the last time I saw him was 2016. We was at a store in Columbia, South Carolina, and I gave him the line that I gave everybody. Yo, I'm going to hit you up. We need to get up. Line through this big-ass gap that I got is exactly what I was doing. So I'm going to make a pledge to all my family and my friends that I'm going to text you more, I'm going to call you more, and I'm going to visit you more. So I just want to give a rest in peace to the homie, QB. I want to give condolences to his family and friends, and especially to Munson, who was also a soldier that was actually his girlfriend for the past few years.
Word. Merv, what you got for us, man?
Yo, to my daughter Logan, Daddy loves you, baby. No,
Logan.
what happened? Oh yeah. So man, my 60 seconds, man. I'm gonna go back to where we start off and begin, man. Listen, you don't understand what it means to be as a black man and have to talk to your kids about if the police pull you over, what you need to do. I don't know any other race that have to have police pullover one-on-one, that you got given instructions on what to do and what not to do as a black man, as a black person. No other race has to do that. All right. White people don't understand that they have to talk to their son and be in fear when you have a black son, and in some cases a black daughter, that they get pulled over by the police. Don't make no sudden movements. Cut all the lights on. Put your hands up, because any sudden movement, I might never see you again. And America does not understand that. All right, white America does not understand that. Non-black America does not understand that. And the fact that in 2020 that it seems like we're going backwards, and for you have to fear the police that's supposed to protect you, and it seems like it's still not getting any better. I just need America to take a step back and be honest with yourself. Stop making up shit and stop trying to tell black people, well, if you just follow instructions, you wouldn't get shot. Even if you're guilty, the police does not have the right to shoot you. Even if you're guilty, you're still supposed to go in front of a fucking jury of 12. Even if you're fucking guilty.
Indeed, man. I appreciate that, Merv. Mark, what you got for us, man?
Man, I'm gonna say two things, right? Number one, it's an app that my nephews told me about called the Citizens app, right? Like this is crazy because this app, um, it tells you like where all the crime is happening around you, right? So you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I cut on the app and like, yeah, man, somebody got stabbed like 400 feet away from you, right? So that means like up the block, right? But it's crazy. But I'm just saying, like, in these times in my city, I need to know what's going on anywhere I go. So that way, I know which blocks to go on and what not to. But I would say like this, but I think it's something good to have, to be honest with you, right? Just like because you'll get the alerts on your phone and then you'll check it. And this is yeah, and this is for everywhere. It ain't just my city, it's everywhere or whatever, right? But at least you kind of know like what's going on like around you. Because sometimes you might not know. You might just run into something. And this ain't like no app, where the cops is there. It's more like these are people just saying like, yo, this is going down my block, and you live over on the next block. But also I want to say, pray for my city, man. It's a lot of bloodshed here, man, and you know what I'm saying. I try to do the best I can, with helping these young guys out. And I would say one thing, to all men, right? Let me tell you, these young guys out here, right? You would think like, oh man, I don't really know them. I can't really approach them like that. You'd be surprised, man. These guys are willing to listen because they want to change. They want to have a hope,
Facts.
what I'm saying, for real,
Facts.
to do something better. And, you could be that one voice, that could just have a kind word, man, and just, it's not, just talk to them, right? I'm like, man, I know y'all tease me with the chicken fingers and all of that, but really, right, it's a couple times where I was just like, man, I just like, yo, man, let's go over to the store, grab something to eat, and then we just talking, right? So I'm like, man, took $10 from me, you know what I'm saying? But we just talking, sitting on the stoop, just talking about life, man, whatever. And they'll remember that, and this one thing you want these young black men growing up is to have a conscience. Because if they have a conscience, then they're going to want to do better. And just like, you know what? I remember I met this OG or whatever, and he said this. I ain't going to do that. So just be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? Is that, I'm like, we already kind of set where we are, but it's other young guys, who are out here who need our help. You know what I'm saying? If you can shed a kind word and a different mentality, it'll go a long way. So just make sure, for you remember that as men.
Indeed,
Facts.
indeed. Thanks, that Mark. Thanks for that. I would say, man, first of all, a shout out to my wisdom for getting this Black King shirt for me. Anytime she get me something, I try to represent. And I'm not pro-black like that, but I'm glad to be who I am. I'm glad to be part of a culture like this. That's beautiful. That's what we do. When Nas dropped the song Ultra Black, I wasn't feeling it at first, but then when I heard it in the context of the album, it made so much sense. And one of the things that I think we need to do better at is just when we see each other, man, peace king, peace queen, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I don't think we do that enough. And we have a lot of things going against us as is. Merv, you said it eloquently about the fact that you have to explain to your child, you get pulled over, what's going to happen, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be that way, you know what I mean? We're not looking for revenge. We're just looking for equal rights. We're looking for equality, and this is 2020, you know what I mean? And we're asking for equality instead of revenge. And I would say that, make it a habit when you see another Black king or Black queen and greet them. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a conversation, but just greet them with peace. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what that person is going through mentally. You don't know what that person is dealing with. You don't know what's going on out there. And we're not doing that enough for each other. I know I damn sure I'm an introvert. So I walk by somebody like I don't see them. Like I'm on the phone because I don't want to talk or don't want to even greet anyone. But I'm not to do better by that. And again, fellas, I think that tonight was one of those nights that we had to take time to address the things that's going on out there. Although we have a small platform, it's a platform nonetheless, and we have to exercise the platform that we do have to be able to, talk about the things that's going on out there amongst us and amongst our brothers and sisters as well. And even for those who are different hue, of a different color, be safe out there, because those of you who are out there trying to fight the battle along with us, we see you and we appreciate that. But in order for us to be strong, we have to be strong ourselves before we ask for help for anyone on the outside. So we got to create our own Wakanda and be strong as much as possible to be able to make sure that we're taking care of each other, whether that's, just a simple peace king or peace queen or love, whatever. And we got to heal, Bill. We got to heal. We got to heal as a country, people, etc. So with that said, brothers, I appreciate you guys tonight. We went over our time, but I thought it was healthy. I think it's a good time for us to really unwind, kind of get into our bag. We'll be back on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern to talk about some other things. Mervin Stacks will be releasing what they're going to be reviewing here in the next couple of days or so. And we're going to have some fun with that as well. So for everyone out there in YouTube, Spotify, Facebook Live, as well as our friends and partners over at Zingo TV, Channel 199 Blackjack TV, we thank you all for tuning in. And Mark, Dre, Merv, hey, it's been a pleasure, my brothers. Yo, salute out. Peace.